I'm gonna get back when I feel like, you know I don't play right. I'll put up a good fight. Just give me the word, like, You know I don't play right. You know I don't play right. Don't give me this. I'm gonna get back when I feel like, you know I don't play. Put up a good fight.
Welcome back to the Allianz Twickenham, where we have already seen an absolute ripper of a fixture. The Royal Navy lifting the Bagpop Trophy and the Inter-Services Championships. Now it is the turn of the women to compete for that famous Bagpop Trophy. The Army are undoubtedly the favourites, but the Royal Navy should never be counted up. First up, let's hear from the captains, who had a little chat with Cass Brazier a short while ago.
Stay here with me. Obviously, two respective captains for this afternoon, Rose Dixon and Jade Mullen. Rose, I'm going to come to you first. You both talked about defence and it being a physical match. Is that how you see today going?
Yeah, absolutely. We've been really cracking on hard with the defence this season. We know how strong the Army can be up front, so that's really what we've been working on.
And Jade, funny enough, you talked about the same thing in your interview. I don't know whether you had a little conversation about that, but just as important, especially with the Royal Navy, who've been quite fast starters in history.
Yeah, definitely. Me and the head coach are strong believers, defence wins games, so that's been our process this season. So yeah, strong defence will hopefully give us the go forward.
And a physical battle, as always. And, you know, it must be so hard lining up against, we just saw you guys all know each other so well. And with the IDRC coming up this year as well, it's hard playing against friends, isn't it?
Oh, it definitely is hard, and there's a lot of respect and love there. So to go on the pitch and go against them, it's really hard to park it. But you just got to think, it's about what you're wearing, the shirts, and just try and move forward.
And Rose, just finally to you, this is always a tough task, but you're going out of the Inter-Services. You've already had that one game as the RAF, which can give you an advantage. But just the beauty of playing at Twickenham again and being up against a side which you're yet to beat.
Yeah, absolutely. I've said it previous years, it's such an occasion to play, kind of regardless of score, but credit where credit's due. The Army have an incredible outfit, and we know every year we just want to go out there and make it really difficult for them, and that's what we want to do.
Best of luck to both Captain Rose Dixon, Jade Mullen. Good luck.
Well, welcome back. Here we are on the sidelines of this historic pitch here in Twickenham. We've got a great match coming up for you, and I've got a wonderful tri-service trio alongside me, kicking things off from the Army Lieutenant Colonel Charlie Maxwell. We've also got Petty Officer Ellis Thorpe from the Royal Navy. And then it says here on my sheet, it's Flight Officer Sarah Bonner of the Royal Air Force, but having just seen you celebrating the Royal Navy victory, are you sure you're in the RAF?
Look, you've always got to back an underdog. I'm Scottish. What do you expect?
Oh, what a fixture. What a day so far, but what a prospect we have in front of us as well, man.
Yeah, absolutely. The weather here today is amazing. Dry conditions, not too hot. Pitch is looking absolutely amazing at the Allianz Stadium. So, yeah, great game of rugby ahead of us.
And Ellis, we've still got an absolute wonderful atmosphere in here. We can see the girls warming up behind us. How are you feeling at this point?
So, obviously, the lads have just had a cracking game. Hopefully we can do the Navy just as proud and go out there and smash it today. So.
Yeah. From the RAF point of view, it's nice to come to these things as a neutral, although we've discussed that you love a bit of an underdog. What do you make of this fixture and this day? Are you a little jealous?
Yeah, look, it's pretty awesome. You're here at Allianz Stadium, pretty much home rugby. What an occasion, what an event for both teams to just go out and enjoy the day.
Yeah, all right, we certainly are. But there's a lot more than just today. On today, in fact, actually a little earlier, there was a draw for the Women's International Defence Rugby Competition, which kicks off very shortly. It will see the UK host the likes of the reigning champions France, Australia, Ireland and Fiji. It's only the second iteration of this tournament. It really is one to look forward to. It's essentially sort of a World Cup of inter-services. There will be 20 games played between August and September. Tickets are available at interservicesrugbychampionship.co.uk. The draw was to put them into pools A and B. The two top teams will go from each pool will go into a semis and then a final, which will be at the Twickenham Stadium in Gloucester on the 3rd of September. So that is one to look forward to a little later in the year. But let's get back to the domestic and the here and now. One game has already been played in the Inter-Services Championship. It's between the RAF and the Navy, and here's how it unfolded.
Hello and a very warm welcome to the opening match of the 2025 Inter-Service Rugby Championships, a highly anticipated clash between the Royal Air Force and Royal Navy women's side. Those forwards shove it on. Under number 10 again, and Morris in midfield, spinning round Morris. That try line's in sight for the Royal Air Force. Have they got there? They have indeed, in a first try of the match. First score for the Royal Air Force. That pressure does tell. And Tulloch finds El Bithell. Oh, and up like a flash, Lucy Nye. Look at that from Kim Grundy. That's absolutely fantastic from the left winger for the Royal Air Force. And celebrating there just ahead of the posts. Score another try. And what a lightning start.
Navy going narrow at the moment. If the RAF see there's a lot of space out on this right wing.
Oh, and lovely from Nye, moving it out left, and Fahy has the try.
But they don't need it.
she's got there, Fahy. Still they come, and moving that out. And it's unfortunate, that one, for the Royal Navy. But I tell you what, they're getting through here, the Royal Navy. And it's a try for the Royal Navy. Wonderful score there, Maura Douglas. And the Royal Navy have turned that again, doing what they did to great effect in the first half, and cleared it well there too. And the final whistle's blown. A resounding win for the Royal Air Force by 36 points to 10. And Lucy Nye gets ready to lift that trophy with her teammates. The Royal Air Force celebrate winning this match, getting their tournament off to an absolute flyer.
Right, well, that victory for the Royal Air Force means that they are sitting atop of the Inter-Services Championship. Of course, the Army and the Royal Navy an opportunity to get themselves up amongst that today. Talking about the RAF then, what do we make of that victory over the Royal Navy?
Yeah, look, class victory. The girls are really proud of the performance. We've still got a bit of fix-ups to do. We had a lot of possession. I think we could have probably converted a little bit more than we did. Jade actually mentioned before, defence wins games, and I also think we wanted to possibly nil them that game, and we could have. But look, there's a lot of positives to take forward to Army in a couple of weeks' time.
Alice, what will the Royal Navy be taking forward from that game, do you think?
So I think for us that game really showed our strengths and weaknesses. Our attack, your defence was incredible, and we were going backwards for a lot of the game. We had quite a lot of phases, so our discipline was really, really good. So we want to keep that going out there today. But trying to find holes in that Army defence to try and break through. We did that once in the RAF game, and we got a try from it. So just trying to do that today and keep those phases going and keep our discipline really good.
Charlie, great to see continued strength and growth in the women's game. I mean, internationally speaking, and at club level, but particularly within the armed forces.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a great season for the Army building towards this fixture. They've already played 7 new caps in the season, so there's no new caps today. But they are bringing more and more players through, and it's fantastic to see the strength and depth that the Army have. And I know that some of the other two services are working hard on the same.
Yeah. Well, let's get a little chance to hear from the head coaches now. The Army attack coach Lou Dennis and the Royal Navy head coach Sarah Jenkins. They caught up with Kat a little while ago.
Jenks, so here we are again at Twickenham. I know it's always a real privilege to play here. You're in a much better place than you were 12 months ago, but how are the Royal Navy women? How are they doing?
Yeah, great. We've really grown with their numbers this year. So we've got, unfortunately, a few girls who hasn't made it. So that's a testament to us of going through from the development right through to seniors of how much we are growing.
Rose talked a lot about your defence, working on your defence. Bearing in mind that the dominance of the Army, is that sort of the go-to when you're looking at a side that you haven't beaten yet?
Yeah, so we kind of leave it alone, leave the ruck alone, make that double tackle, get in their faces, take away their space, and then just fight in that contact area.
And how is everyone in camp? Because it's such a big game, but this will be the end of your inter-services. Is there a bit of relief, but also there's still that pride, one more game to go?
Yeah, definitely. Lots of us are going back to work on Monday, so we have to remember sometimes that we are still sailors first before we're rugby players. But the atmosphere is great, it's really good, and hopefully we'll have a big party this evening.
Perfect, thanks Jenks.
Thank you very much.
Lou Dennis, how are the Army looking? I know it's not an easy game, no game is easy, but coming here where they are so dominant, how are they feeling ahead of this fixture?
Yeah, it's been a really great week in camp. The girls are feeling good. Everyone's as prepared as we can be. It's been a momentous occasion for these girls, and everyone's really looking forward to getting going today.
I know, knowing the team, knowing the setup, that there is never any room for complacency. We've seen what the Navy can do, especially in first half. They get out of the blocks really fast. I suppose you have planned for that in camp.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're really focused on ourselves and not anybody else. We've had a great fixture against Wales last week, and we've got into this week being purely focused on ourselves and not what anybody else is going to do.
The Navy talk about a physical battle. I know that you guys agree with that. And working on their defence, that seems to be something that both sides have agreed that that's what you're looking at this year.
Yeah, definitely. So Sarah, our head coach, she's massive on defence wins games. So we've had a big focus this week in camp on our defensive efforts, our defensive mindset. And I think it's definitely been a real progress for the girls this week and seeing where they started and where we finished, ready to go into today.
And how difficult is it to sort of switch off from the men's match and make your game the foremost of your mind?
Yeah, definitely. There's been a lot of noise this morning around the hotel, but we've been really keen just to keep ourselves in our team room, keeping focused on us. Really calm bus journey on the way in here, and we're ready to go now.
Great. Thank you, Lou.
Thank you.
Right, well, all the expected pomp and ceremony accompanies this match. You can see the Royal Marines in place, ready to abseil the match ball into position. The band are ready. Look at this. We get an up-front point of view of these sterling Royal Marine commandos doing what they do best, throw themselves off large buildings. And I can even hear, was that Jerusalem starting to be played by the finest military band in the world, the Royal Marines band, of course. Both coaches sounding really confident there that they know exactly what they need to do. Lou Dennis has got a lot to be confident about, though, today, doesn't she?
Unfortunately for the Navy, yes. We've got a really strong squad, and I was talking to Sarah Mitchelson earlier on in the week about the squad itself, and yeah, she's very happy. We've got everyone released from ops that we needed. It's the first team Army squad. They've trained hard, they've played hard. The Wales under-20 game has really set them up for this fixture, and I know they are very much looking forward to starting this game.
The Army continue that strength, they continue that dominance, but the Navy continue to build. Alice, what does a victory look like today? What does the Navy hope to take away from this big opportunity that they have?
So I think for the Navy today, it's all about closing that gap and showing that we are improving and we're working. We've been in camp longer this season, so hopefully that makes a big difference, and we can show that we can compete with those girls out there that a lot of our girls are friends with now. They've played together for a few years now. So yeah, I think hoping that scoreline is closer this year. Maybe put a few more points against them. I think that would be a really good success for us.
Some very strong moustaches there from those Royal Marines, to be expected, of course. So from the point of view of someone who's ultimately going to be playing the Army very shortly, what does the Royal Navy have to do today, do you think?
Look, I think you can never underestimate an underdog. They've just got to go out there and fight, and both teams have said it. It's about defence, ultimately. If they can stick together, defend, stop them from getting over the white line, it could potentially be an interesting match. And I think Navy have just got to build on set piece, for example. Look at the small wins, and from an Army perspective, they'll be looking out to go and put on a dominant performance and kind of be like, look, Royal Air Force, we're coming for you, and that's what I expect to see.
The Army will be looking for a dominant team performance. Any individuals we should be particularly looking out for today, didn't Charlie?
Yeah, so I'm going to put a shout out for Manakalu Komatai, the number 8, who actually later on this season is going out to Fiji to have a trial game for the Fijian World Cup later on. She's had a really great backstory within Army Rugby. She's been on the scene for sort of 6 years, part of the development squad. She's been, part of the 30 for Army Navy for a while. But I see her really coming of age today in this game. So yeah, I would keep an eye on number 8.
Nice. I've said some strong moustaches. Is that a Royal Marine Commander with a beard? I never. Not in my day. Ellis, from a Navy's point of view, who should we be looking out for in particular?
I think Jasmine Abel, she showed how key she is at fullback against the RAF. So today, hopefully she'll be out there putting in some big hits. Ryan Sinclair in the second row. Again, she's another one just back from the Celtic Challenge with Glasgow Warriors. So hopefully she'll be able to go out there and show what she's made of. And Rose Dixon leading from the front. She always has a good game, showing the new girls how it's done.
Yeah. All right, well, we can see that the match ball is nearly in position. The crowds have replenished their drinks. They are ready for another absolute ripper here. Charlie Maxwell is hot-footing our way up to the commentary box to take place alongside the Rugby World Cup winner, Rachel Burford, and Simon Hunter will talk us through. And it is nearly time for the second of today's Army-Navy doubleheader, another brilliant chapter in inter-service sports.
age-old rugby rivalry, but a new page on which to write the next chapter of this Army v Navy story. The home of English rugby has been bathed in sunshine today, and both teams will enter to a typically warm reception. The atmosphere builds as they prepare to do battle. The Army, of course, entered the tournament as defending champions. Very fond memories of this fixture last year, a resounding 78-5 victory, and head coach Sarah Mitchelson will be asking for more of the same from her players today. The Navy will be hoping to bounce back from their 36-10 defeat to the Royal Air Force in the opening match in Northampton 2 weeks ago. They're led by a woman who played the last time they beat the Army in inter-service rugby union, Sarah Jenkins. What wisdom can she impart on her players as they enter the fray this afternoon? Well, for those of you supporting either side, the players enter to pyrotechnics. For the neutrals or casual observers, a bright, sunny time of it here should mean we're all in for a real treat with some expansive rugby. And a real treat for me to be joined in commentary today by England World Cup winning legend Rachel Burford. How are you doing, Burf?
Good afternoon. Yeah, very much looking forward to this one. Always a tasty contest. You see the smiles on the faces already as they're entering this arena. Great to see so many people also sticking around this afternoon to watch this game.
And a special time for those mascots as well, as the players link arms and get ready for the national anthem, and personnel as well taking their positions, those in the seats as well ready to stand. This game edges ever closer here at Allianz Stadium, Twickenham.
We are honoured to be joined today by a number of
We've seen
veterans who were serving
lots of applause there. Some fantastic stuff from those abseiling Royal Marines just now as well. Those here have been treated to a fantastic afternoon of rugby so far. Incredible finish in that men's match. And a nod, of course, to the 80th anniversary of VE Day on the 8th of May. And the incredible sacrifice by so many.
Please stand, if able, for the national anthem performed by the band of His Majesty's Royal Marines, led by Lance Corporal Izzy Chadwick.
Well, a rousing reception not only for the players out on the pitch now, but also the national anthem. And as we look at the sides, firstly the reigning champions, the British Army, led by the ever-present Jade Mullen with her 34 caps in the red shirt. 12 for UCAF, running the show from fly half with her half-back teammate Gemma Pearson today. A very experienced front row for the Army side, Batley, Medders and Benevent with 77 caps between them. And to the back line, what pace with Twickenham try-scorers Hannah Gilmore, Charlotte Tweddle and Courtney Pursglove in the back three. For the Navy side, there's a lot on Rose Dixon's shoulders at 10, with Sophie Tulloch playing alongside her in the half-backs in that scrum half position. They're expected to be physical today. You've seen what they did against the Royal Air Force in Northampton. The experienced Rosie Staples and Rowan Sinclair in the second row, and the versatile Jess Bryan at 8. We've seen what she's done with the kicking boot as well. And Jasmine Abel at 15, the Navy's try-scorer from this fixture in 2024. The officials today, referee Mike Hayes, accompanied by Fraser Gray and John Butcher.
Just don't hit me, I'm all right.
As Courtney Pursglove shapes up to get this game underway. Things have just clouded over a little, and temperature just dropped slightly. But the heat is on for these players. The Army entering the tournament, eyeing up another performance like they put in last year. 12 try performance here.
Navy ready?
Navy looking to get revenge for that day, and also to build what they did at the end of that game against the Royal Air Force 2 weeks ago. As Pursglove gets us underway, And that ball just dribbles into touch
Take the edge of the line.
on the left-hand side.
Red,
And Rachel,
take the line, please. That's it. That's it. Thank
just
you.
put into words what it's like as we saw the players there going through the tunnel, coming out onto the pitch. This fantastic reception, of course, and what a place to do it in.
Yeah, it's a wonderful venue to be able to play at, you know, the home of English rugby here at the Allianz Stadium. Walking through the tunnel, you can feel the noise, you can anticipate the atmosphere, and then as you come out, that roar and the lights and everything, it's a really special occasion for both of these teams today.
Now Rebecca Addis of the Royal Navy, that throw in. Go to Rowan Sinclair. And out to Jess Bryan, who's been a very physical presence right across the pike for the Royal Navy. In the last few games in the lead up to inter-services as well as
Thank you too.
Against the Royal Air Force. And Tulloch there looking for her options outside. Oh, that's a very physical hit there from Ray Metters of the Army. And Dixon seeing that defence up very quickly there. And there's Amy Carr, the outside centre of the Army, just putting extra pressure on the Navy skipper. Staples. An advantage being played to the Royal Navy. Dixon once more thinks about the boot, but that ball's just
tackling a player, you can't be on your
forward
knees.
there. The advantage being played, and Charlie Maxwell has hot-footed it up to the commentary gantry. Great to see you once again. Cracking shirt as well.
Thanks very much, Si. Yeah, great to be here as always.
What a day we're in for, and of course we've memories of that day a couple of weeks ago, I should say, in Northampton. A couple of years ago, it may feel like that in some ways, but Jess Bryan just putting it forward there. Pursglove assessing her kicking options. And putting that back towards her opposite number, Jasmine Abel.
Put them on, backwards four.
And, a bit of tennis going on here.
Bring them on.
Both sides just finding their range and seeing what they're going to do. Leica Swain here. Number 6 jersey. Baby Rhino, as she's known to her teammates.
Now.
Flo Mullet on the wing today. Move back inside. Staples.
Tackle now, release.
Whose leadership's been important behind Rose Dixon, often playing vice captain.
And release. Advantage.
An advantage again being played.
Release. Number 4.
Not releasing there. Maybe looking to ship it wide. But, the Army defence up again very, very quickly there. Oh, it's a thumping collision from Sophie Benevent.
Can't play through there, you're good. Coming back here.
And referee going back for the penalty, and an interesting first few minutes, Rachel.
Yeah, certainly has been. Big hit there from Sophie Bennett. Really read it so well, the play out the back. But they had options on the outside. That's twice now that they managed to shorten up the Army at the moment. You can see they're trying to get off the line, cause pressure, slow down the opposition ball. But there are opportunities on the edges that give themselves a bit more depth. They can play to them.
Ellie Brightwell there, running into a bit of red traffic. And, Rebecca Addis trying to make a bit of a gain. It's very quick again up from the Army.
Careful.
And things getting a bit untidy in that ruck, and well, the Army have won the penalty. Navy holding on there, and well, a few penalties, but not really making much territorial gain there, Charlie Maxwell.
No, not yet. I'd agree with Rachel Burford there, that the Navy have got some space on the outside if they can get the ball out there. In fairness to the Army, they are seeing it and they are adapting, but there is space there, definitely, if they can get there.
I think they're being really decisive about when they go into the breakdown. Jane Bundy there, that was their second counter up, managed to get successful turnover there. So it's obviously they want to keep numbers on feet to be able to go and pressurise this team, because Navy can move the ball really well, so they'll be worried about that.
They've got pace on the outside as well today, haven't they? Sam Hill, Flo Mullet, and Jasmine Abel, who will be eyeing up another Twickenham try, just as she did last year. But, the Army to move that around the back. And Mullen to Tweddle, the winger. His pace has just been so impressive in the last couple of years. Oh, and Amy Carr making a break. A half break through the middle there. But ball just spilled forward. be a Navy put in.
It was a great set-piece play, slightly early on the timing off the initial pull, but the little soft pass from Jade Mullin just here, just holds up the defender just enough. Does so well to hold on to it. But you can see they want to keep tempo. They obviously want to offload out the tackle, keep the ball away from the breakdown. But here, just not aware and ready to be able to receive that offload, then just forces the error.
The Army so far, Charlie, showing just how incisive they can be, just with a couple of opportunities so far, but through Amy Carr there, finding some gaps.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting. So far, I'd say the Navies have the majority of the possession, but as mentioned earlier, they're not really getting the go forward as yet. The Army, 10 seconds in, immediate go forward as soon as they've got the ball. So I think it's going to be very interesting that keeping possession, Navy defence, but they've got to get go forward when they've got that possession.
Well, it was mentioned against the Royal Air Force that the Navy had plenty of turnovers on their own try line, but just struggled with an exit strategy of sorts. I think the lack of kicking game was mentioned really outside of Jess Bryan in the pack. And with a bit more of a breeze now, it seems, they're a bit more of a challenge for them once again. The Army will be fully aware of that, of course, as will the Navy. And that ball just dribbling into the goal area. And up very quickly there, Charlotte Tweddle, but scrum 5.
Taken back over blue, grounded.
And they're the kind of mistakes that you can't let the Army have. You know, they work so hard to force that error, gain that possession. As Charlie was just saying there, you've got to maximise what you do against this Army team because they will punish you.
Let me take that step before you put the warning, right? Make sure I'm happy to step, right?
An opportunity here for the Army in a very good attacking position.
Make sure you pull your hips in, stay square. Crouch!
Jade Mullin just
Bind!
picking her favourite spot here,
Set!
finding her preferred position. Oh, and that's wonderfully moved around the side. That's power going through to the try line there, and the first try, Manukalu Komitai for the British Army. You mentioned her potential impact before the match, Charlie Maxwell, and we've seen it right away.
Yeah, absolutely. Combs is a fantastic player. I mentioned it in the pre-match build-up. She has been part of the squad, I would say, for 6 years. I might have just done her down there, but she's absolutely one of those players that's not made the matchday squad for Army Navy for a number of years, but been in and around the 30. She's done the training. She's been a real development player, and she's absolutely come into her own this season.
Yeah, real solo effort there. Big drive off the scramble. Ball is touched. You know there's only one route that she's going for, and that's the try line. The back rows for Navy have got to get off quicker and not leave that all to the pull back.
I was going to say, dare I say it, there's a Fijian sidestep basically straight through route 1. Amazing try, fantastic.
It's not what you want to see as a back coming through there. And Pursglove just eyeing up posts. And looks to add those 2 points. And the ball curling in. And she's made it as well. So the 2 points added by Courtney Pursglove. Much was made last year of the 12 tries for the British Army. But of course, Pursglove's kicking abilities crucial in that match as well.
I think it just highlights, you know, you can't afford to just give easy ball to the Army because one opportunity and they've taken that, and that's now that psyche is really frustrating from a Navy perspective because that was on their own doing.
Yeah, and unfortunately it is just that level of skill again, like you say, that if you give the Army an inch, they will absolutely take a mile. And it is unfortunate for the Navy. They had all the possession for the first 6 minutes, but Army 7-0 up.
Sam Hill there for the Navy with the kick-off, and Lauren Brooks bouncing off a few defenders. Gemma Pearson, ball just gone back off the hands of Jade Mullin. Looking to get quick ball here, the Army. Spreading it out through the hands and coming on at a nice pace there. And Millie Williams inside centre, just blocked there from Sam Hill. But they've earned the penalty, and
offside.
That's nice stuff from the midfield.
You can't play the ball. Number 1.
Yeah, it was lovely interlinking playing between the forwards and the backs. Always talk about getting another touch. See how she doesn't dive. She gets back on the inside and then just powers on through. Nice option as well to look for the kick in the space in behind. That's the fullback coming up. Just feel the confidence growing now within this Army team.
Going through the motions here and the gears, it's starting to find a bit of fluidity. And into that Navy 22 once again. Ball goes there, taken by Annika Willis, scorer of the 4th try here last year. And that lovely rolling maul from the British Army.
Down now, play the ball. No hands.
Ball goes to ground.
It's a tackle now, the ball is available.
And Pearson out to Mullen, looking for quick options there through Lauren Brooks.
Yeah, I've got it flat. Hands went backwards.
Oh, and that's a nice step inside. And power there as well from Millie Williams. Going on the far side. What can Sarah Batley do here? Just inches away now, the Army.
Thank you. Use it!
Willis lining up. Forwards there, and that's well kept out. Jess Bryan in the midst of that tackle there. But pushing again through Brooks. And ever closer the Army get, and they get there in the end. A second try for the Army. And the pressure once again telling.
Yeah, it's good build-up play, isn't it? We talked about giving this Army team opportunities, and that's all led from the penalty. Kick to the corner, really well set piece, driving more, and then the organisation, the composure to reset, go again. Lauren Brooks a couple of times at the line and then gets her rewards in the end. A lot of great work so far coming from Millie Williams there, right through the heart of it. He's just got to get lower. When you've got the try line right at your feet, you've got to get underneath the ball and driving back, and Lauren Brooks, she's got plenty of experience in scoring tries from that far out.
Yeah, you'd back Lauren from there every single time. One of our Quins players, fantastic player, been in the squad 3-4 years now, fantastic player on Army-Navy match day.
Well, the Army leading 12 points to 0. Barely 10 minutes gone here at Allianz Stadium, Twickenham. And setting the tone right away. And a game full of tries at the weekend against the Wales under-20 side, just losing 41-31 the British Army, but showing a lot of attacking threat against a very well-drilled side. And that's a lovely handoff there. That's beautiful from Annika Willis. Back inside. And another handoff there. They're just pushing and bouncing off these Navy defenders.
On the floor.
Yeah, again, that interlinking play between the forwards, and you can see, as you said earlier, clearly the intent is the quick ball and the support runners for the Army. There's strength in numbers at the moment. Navy defence doing well to get back.
I'm trying not to ruin it too
simple
much.
mistake by us, the Army, apologies. But yeah, you can see the intent there.
Do let us know where you're watching today. Craig Tilley alongside has been looking at some of the social media comments.
Yes, but there's so many of you watching from all over the forces sporting world today. Since 1976 on YouTube says, good luck Navy, go well and sing Claire, love mum and dad from Mallorca, do your best. Nigel Turner, also from YouTube, also says, come on the Army, show the men how to beat the Navy. And also Donna Smith, go Army, from Don Smith, watching from Somalia, that's a long way away. And Samantha Alderson, Sam Alderson and Gemma Flowers cheering the Navy on from Plymouth, and miss him being on that pitch with you. So.
Thank you, Craig. Well, we had a bit of Mallorcan-style weather earlier, but the temperature has just dropped. A bit more breeze as well. Could make things interesting for those kicking games. Dixon just taking that ball and getting it out there, and Staples shoved right back towards that 22 again.
Just a quick mention there, Don Smith is our ex-team manager. So out in Somalia, we wish you well out there, Don. Thanks for the shout out.
The wonderful link-ups that exist right across the world, eh? And Brooks again. Brooks, who's been extremely busy in this quarter of an hour. And Mullen with lots of options outside her. Looking to her open side, Sam West.
Lost now.
And, making the most of that ball. That's just gone forward there through the hands of Sarah Batley. But starting to see what the Army are all about here, Berth, and lots of attacking threats all over the pitch.
Yeah, it certainly is, but it was the breakdown and the defence work that got them the ball back. Brilliant work from the pack there to get it. And you can just see Jade Mullen, really experienced player, plays at Harlequins, is really versatile, plays in that backfield, can play at 10, 12, 13. So she's got the eye for where the opportunities are. There just look like a little bit of miscommunication between the two forwards. That's what you don't want to do, is be in a really strong position in the opposition 22. And then a simple lack of communication is now taking that opportunity away from you.
Free kick taken quickly there by Jess Bryan, who just palmed off the defender right to the face there. But unfortunately for her. The Army have the penalty, and Navy just being guilty of holding on, it seems, a little bit so far.
Captain fantastic there, Jade, just calming the Army down again, just getting them back, calming them down before they get back into the red zone.
Well, that ball was kept inside. It looked potentially a little forward there, but ref is playing on. And Ray Measures trying to push through the middle.
Thank you, Seven.
And quick and lining out those backs on the left-hand side. The British Army putting in a little grubber. That's bouncing very, very nicely. Can Courtney Pursglove get there? She can indeed. Right through Pursglove and picking up where she left off last year. Fantastic performance then, and it's turning into that again now for her.
Yeah, a little bit of that fairy dust coming for the Army. That ball bouncing really nicely for Pursglove. Clearly individual skill, picking it up, waiting for it to do that bounce up and then straight through. Right place, right time, great try.
Yeah, it's brilliant work. Little stab of the ball. Like, as soon as she got the ball, she had already spun the space out there. You could have probably passed it to the space as well. But we love to see variation. Really well weighted as well. Drives it into the ground so it doesn't go too far. But, you know, again, frustration for the Navy. All of that possession and territory came from them losing the ball in the breakdown. And Jessica Bryan is an excellent player for the Navy. You've got to be sharp and you've got to be with her.
How difficult is she to take down? I mean, you look at her silky smooth running, Courtney Pursglove, and just sort of slinking in and out of tackles. She finds space before you even know she's found space.
Yeah, they're the worst ones to try and pick up. You think they're going one way and then they've gone the other and then they've changed back again. But yeah, she's got some real wheels on her as well, so you can't give her an angle or any opportunity. And this is really skillful as well. You've got to be able to judge the bounce of that ball, pick it up, regather. She's still got somebody on her tail. Brilliant, brilliant try.
I was going to say, there was a slight pause there waiting for one of us to answer. I was like, that question's definitely not for me, Berth.
Sam Hill again with the Navy with the kickoff. And gathered cleanly. The Army leading 19 points to 0. And just 17 minutes gone in this match so far. Pearson pulling it back to Pursglove, putting the boot in. And Abel trying to track that down, but Navy have won a penalty there in their most promising position quite yet.
As well picked up by the referee. You've got to make sure that you're onside or you've got to be retreating. So now's an opportunity for the Navy. You know, it's the first time that they've probably been deep in the half of the Army team, and we saw Bryant go for the 3 points last outing against the RAF, and she was successful, so it's a great way to get back on that board.
Jess Bryan, number 8 for the Royal Navy. As you say, Berth, she's been doing a lot of kicking of late, out of hand and indeed off the tee. And trying to get on the scoreboard here to get something going forward, the Royal Navy. Lining this up and what we would say is the right side for a right-footed kicker, but just pushing that wide, Jess Bryan, and going in the hands of Hannah Gilmore here. We saw her electric pace last year, Gilmore, and just sidestepping a number of Royal Navy tacklers, but absolutely dumped there by Jess Bryan. But nevertheless, the Army still have it, and looking to utilise those handoffs once again. And lovely from Pursglove, Tweddle on the outside of her. She moves back inside and trying to burn some of those defenders as well. And goes to Tweddle, a bit of a rocket of sorts to her, but wow, she's on fire at the moment.
Yeah, Courtney's exactly the person you do not want to leave in that much space. As we were saying before, she's got silky skills even in the close, but in that much space she will burn the Royal Navy defence.
You're all offside. Got to go that way.
Yeah, just the Navy not reacting quick enough off that penalty kick. You've got to be able to be organised and get ready that if it doesn't make it, what the opposition are going to do, and it just left them so vulnerable down this right-hand side.
And another scrum just outside the Navy's 22 here. And Sophie Tulloch with the put in. And at the feet of Jess Bryan. He's looking to pick that up. The Army have done well there.
Accidental obstruction.
And well done from Ray Messers.
7 steps up, go in. Scrum.
Yeah, a quick shout out to Ray. This is her 39th cap she's winning today. That means she is the equal cap holder for the Army with Chris Budgeon, the men's front row player, hooker. So congratulations to Ray Metters on gaining that title. And well done for her. She's had a great career over her time with Army Rugby. Unfortunately, she's one of those players, had a couple of injuries, but massively come back from adversity. And starting today, it's a really well won shirt.
It's that experience right through that Army squad, really, Berth as well. Not just experience in terms of numbers of caps, but winning's a habit, and they're used to a lot of that in recent years. It's a lovely turn of pace there, coming onto that ball, and Millie Williams just being bundled back a little bit. And to Willis. And Pearson summing up her options, moving the other way now. Oh, and trying to get through the middle there, Heidi Silcox. Wonderful stuff once again, finding that space. They're finding it in every possible corner of Allianz Stadium, Twickenham right now, the British Army.
I know Sarah Mitchelson would be especially happy with that. We had a chat earlier on in the week, and I know that actually I was thinking the Army would be wanting to play a fast-flowing, wide game, but actually she said no. What she wants the girls to do is beat it up the middle. So she'll be very happy with that try from Heidi.
And it's brilliant work, you know, ball in two hands, little show and go to Lauren Brooks, which just sells the two defenders and opens up a slight gap for her. She's got some good pace for her number 4 as well.
Yeah. It's almost like a competition between the backs and the forwards, isn't it? As to who can palm off more defenders and utilise that pace. And Pursglove just going for the drop kick.
So I spent a little bit of time with the team on Thursday morning, and Courtney Pursglove was very excited to tell me that in a defensive drill, the backs beat the forwards. So I'm just going to point out what you've just said there in terms of the challenge between the forwards and the backs and who can score the most tries. So Courtney, back at you, mate.
Was that a 20-metre defensive drill?
No, in fairness, the forwards did look shameful when she told me the story. So I was like, oh no, come on guys, you've changed. However, I think it's because they picked up speed, so, you know, fair play.
Deeper restart this time, just going straight to Lauren Brooks. And Willis again. Pearson to Benevent. And looking for that lovely offload as well. The ball has gone back and into the hands of Ellie Brightwell. It's good from the open side there. Moving the far side here, Leica Swain trying to do what the Army have been doing and hand off some of those defenders, and Dixon trying to get that over the top. But going forward, we're going to head down now to Kath Brazier, who's joined by the Royal Navy head coach Sarah Jenkins.
Jenks, I know you're talking to your team, you're busy, but you know, good passenger play just there from the Royal Navy. But what are they not doing that have let the Army go past them several times?
So the Army are just capitalising on our own mistakes. They're not going low enough in the tackles, so they're allowed to get that handoff into the girls, and then they're on the back foot straight from the start. So, yeah.
And what is it you're communicating down there to get that message across to them?
Get low. Get low, really get low. Make them know that you're there. Because at the minute, they're making it easy for them. So, yeah, get low is the biggest thing.
We asked Rose, like, you know, realistically, you know, what could she achieve from this game? We asked you the same thing. Are you still hopeful of getting some kind of score?
Yeah, look what we've just made there. So we're coming into the game minute by minute, so they just need to be in that game a little bit quicker.
Thanks very much, Jenks.
Thank you.
Yeah, the Navy just putting together more solid defence and forcing some errors there from the Army.
It's interesting, they punched really tight then on that play off the scrum when they did a really good job to narrow them up. Obviously worried about them coming through the middle. That's where they need to be able to have their heads up, be able to see where the right space, pick the right option. I know what the narrative is from the coach, but at the end of the day, you want to be able to also be able to pick out where the space is and be able to execute that opportunity.
No, I completely agree. As you say, there's one thing the coach telling you the game plan, there's the other thing of you delivering it and actually adapting. And it'd be key if the Navy work out the Army game plan and when the Army actually shift it. So, yeah, very interesting. I think we saw that in the RAF-Navy game, that actually they worked out the game plan, but the RAF came out in the second half, different game plan. Navy struggled to adapt to it. So, yeah, absolutely learning as you play.
Well, it was that Moira Douglas try in the closing moments of that Northampton match.
No lift.
It showed that the Navy were just starting to put something together
Backwards.
in the dying phases, but Dixon there trying to put a kick in there. It's just come off the Army and actually into the hands of Flo Mullett. So they retain the possession, but under fairly heavy Army pressure here. That's a thumping hit on Ellie Brightwell.
And release.
No surprise, Jade Mullen plays like a back rower in defence. She's so fearless, reads the game really well. That's why we're back involved again.
Yeah, Tulloch trying to take advantage of some quicker ball now for the Navy. And Dixon moving it through the hands and back. And Jasmine Abel putting a little kick in, but only as far as Purse Glove.
Offside.
Who at the moment has been fairly happy with ball in hand, but the referee just going back there for an Army offside. So it'll be a Navy penalty.
Just as we wait for the ball to come back and the pen to set up, Ellie Brightwell, I'll do a quick shout out to her and her ship. So she's joining the carrier strike group imminently, along with Lucy Honeybell. So in the next few days after this game, they'll deploy out. A few others on the team sheet, which I'll go over later. Yeah, we wish them and the rest of the strike group really well for their sail.
Absolutely. And back to action here as Tulloch takes it quickly in.
No rock.
As far as Lucy Honeybell, moving into traffic. And, ball now on the far side, and Dixon picking it up a little low. But, going through the phases here, the Royal Navy. Tulloch moving the other way now to Rebecca Addis. And again it comes out. Brightwell in the action again, and that's very good for Manika Willis.
Off your feet.
But being told to leave it there from the ref. And back inside to Rebecca Addis. Tulloch just surveying her options in midfield. And some of those options coming for front rowers. Staples. Back out to Dixon here. Looking to ship it wide to her winger, Sam Hill, but it's been knocked on.
Would have been a great race contest there, wouldn't it, down that short side.
We may yet see it, of course, as you say, Berth, but the Army have the ball again. Ray Metters.
Ball's available.
Hooker for the red shirts today. But, good from Benevent. Just keeping possession well here, recycling well, and Willis once again, who's been fantastic in broken play.
The 1-2s between Brooks and Willis has been excellent. Obviously, maybe as a little pact between them, just being like, be on my shoulder and I'll be on your shoulder.
Another slippery customer here, Hannah Gilmore, who's showing her turn of pace. Wonderfully skillful player. It's that Army back three, utilising all those fast feet. Oh, and a lovely offload there. Back to Sarah Batley, wonderfully experienced player. And it comes again to Willis, who's looking to take route one here, Willis. Going higher here, over the top, and Pursglove, who goes back inside, and that's lovely from Courtney Pursglove once again. That sidestep comes in very handy on days like this.
Yeah, Courtney will love that try. To be fair on her outside player, she had to get that. There was so much space that she could have easily passed. However, Courtney that close to the line is not going to. Again, amazing step, great movement, and a fantastic solo try from Courtney.
Yeah, there's the inside work where it came from. Jade Mullen saw the Russian defence, just did a little tap on, and then the depth here just to hold your feet. Doesn't need to engage the defenders yet. Probably should have given that one, but she finished it, so everybody will air her off.
Tricking two defenders there, not least Rose Dixon. Opposite captain there, and lovely stuff from Pursglove. And the opportunity to add another couple of points.
Next season, 60 seconds.
Well, no chance of getting rusty really today in terms of kicking practice. Slots one over again, and the Army are up to a 31-point deficit, 31 points nil. And nearly half an hour played here at Allianz Stadium, Twickenham, in this fantastic inter-service clash. Kick off again from Hill. And, Mullet trying to take that on the fly, but knocked it on. And Measures here. The interplay between the Army forwards has been remarkably impressive when cutting back inside as well, isn't it, Berth? It's something they've been doing so effectively so far.
Yeah, just seem really comfortable on the ball, whether you're a back or a forward, and they've clearly been working on their offloading game, making sure you're flooding on the inside. And a lot of players, once they pass the ball, they're not dying off, they're straight back into the next action of play, and that's why we keep seeing these 1-2s between the players.
And Willis again. A very busy afternoon for Annika Willis, as it was in this fixture last year.
Player of the game, if I remember correctly, last year. She had a stormer.
Oh, and Gilmore shakes that off. There's a fierce challenge there from her opposite number. And Hannah Gilmore.
No, leave it, you're from the side.
Just finding those gaps beautifully, and very hard for the Navy defence to pick that up.
Okay, it's fine.
Did so well to scramble defence, though.
Advantage. Knocked on in the tackle.
Yeah, just been knocked on there by the Navy. And a good opportunity once again for the British Army just outside the Navy 22. And just a couple of moments there where the Navy having some opportunities, but just not able to capitalise on them yet. And the Army are happy in that broken play just to pick up and pick up from where they left off.
I'm looking. Okay.
Yeah, you can see the Army interplay. We've mentioned the back three working well together. We've mentioned the back row working together. There's just those pods around the pitch where they know their compadres on their shoulder, and that offload is really easy. When you know someone's there to take it, it's easy to just slip it out of that tackle. And as Berth said, they're not just dropping off then, they're supporting each other. So those waves of attack, it's really difficult for the Navy to defend against.
Yeah, as soon as you've got a defender, as soon as the attack is in behind, then you're suddenly scrambling, you're not sure who you're picking up, and then that's how you just keep building on that momentum and that tempo. And it's so hard defensively because then you can't get yourself set, you can't get off the line, you can't put pressure on.
Yeah, difficult working backwards as well. And Navy, fairness, 30 minutes gone. It's quite a high score already in this game. So that will also be taking a bit of a knock on their morale, unfortunately. So let's hope that actually the break here with the injury gives them chance to just get their breath back, Rose to get them all in, and just get them buoyed for the last 9 minutes of this game.
I'm just seeing Jess Bryan. This could be huge for the Royal Navy coming off the field here. And Reinavani Tuvu coming on the field, and thank you very much for getting your comments into us today from wherever you're watching around the world. Craig Tilley has been keeping up to date.
Well, so many of you tuning in to watch this fantastic game. Nige says, watching from Darwin, Australia, go Army. And also on YouTube, Julianne Pert, sending lots of love and luck to the Army girls, gutted I'm not with them. Charlie, you're doing a fab job, lots of love, Jules. Also Kevin Jones commented on YouTube, come on Army, proud Uncle Kev and cousin Seren. Cheering Jade Mullen, the captain of the Army girls, and the girls come on. And this is a really nice comment from Dave on YouTube as well. This is a great advert. I'm a veteran and I served for 23 years. In 1984, I was on exercise long look to Australia. Rugby, both codes was my life, and what a great game. This is for everyone. So
wonderful there. Hannah Gilmore again, reaching for the line, and has scored. Hannah Gilmore just around the post there. Looked like she wasn't potentially going to make it. Just hoping she's all right here. She's pulled up from that attempt. Wonderful there from the left wing. Such a threat. Loves coming inside and looking for work as well. One of the signs of a great winger.
Yeah, absolutely. You always want your wingers to be busy and not just sitting out in the wide channels. But again, it's that soft play right at the front, Jade Mullin, I think, getting involved, getting right in the defensive line, and then that little tip across.
First Glove adds the 2 points. And the 38-point lead for the British Army. Lovely stuff there from Hannah Gilmore.
Really smart to get back onto your feet and present the ball. She's not held. She's well within her rights to be able to go for an opportunity at the try line.
And showing there, Charlie, a brilliant rugby brain as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Knowing, you know, there are many laws and interpretations in the rugby game, but knowing them is actually really important so that you can take advantage in moments like that.
Not for the first time today, the Navy restart. And straight into the hands of Lauren Brooks. And Ray Metters looking to pan off her tacklers. Mullen has plenty of options on either shoulder. What a luxury to have as a fly half. Oh, and lovely from Mullen herself as well. And looking to pass it over to Amy Carr, and Gilmore in support. And the ball just spilled forward there from Gilmore.
Brilliant tackle from Jasmine Abel there.
It's advantage for the knock-on.
Last tackle in the backfield. That was definitely going to be a try if she missed that.
Can't come through that. Knock on.
We talked a lot about Jade Mullin playing right at the line, the little pops, the little offload, and then suddenly, because you've been doing that for the first 35 minutes, now the gap opens as soon as you shape like that, and this lovely little show and go. Someone on her shoulder, then links up really nicely, takes out one of the defenders.
Yeah, and we were absolutely saying that earlier. Jade Mullen's rugby brain and her spotting the gap, but as you say, just learning, seeing that actually the Navy unfortunately have already taken, right, it's Jade, it's going to go, and then she keeps it and does that dummy, and absolutely learning on the fly, looking at what the opposition are doing and just spotting the gap and going. It's what makes her such a fantastic player.
It's good from Dixon trying to get out of trouble there. To Brightwell. He's taken a few firm hits today, I think it's fair to say.
Navy move back, Navy work back.
Going to Jess Shaw to get that ball out. Jess Shaw.
Navy on the line.
Capped twice for Lancashire Rugby League as well, dual code player.
Those
are a number of these Royal Navy players today.
Yeah.
And multi-skilled. Ray Metters again to throw it into the line out, and it's come back on the Army side, and it just looks like opportunities yet again for the red shirts. That's lovely from Brooks, motoring up the pitch. Those handoffs again, very quick ball, lovely here from Mullen to Carr, but I think that's just gone forward, and the ref confirms it so.
Yeah, right space and right option, wasn't it? Just like timing on it. Ball slightly behind the runner coming through. Every time the forwards getting the ball, they're doing that bounce out slightly, taking out some more defenders, so it gives them a bit more space on the outside. But the physicality from the forwards and the pack that are carrying, you know, not going down easy, leg driving through the contact, and then that just gives you such a great platform to be able to play from.
Yeah, it'd be really interesting, actually, the meters made by the forwards versus the backs. A little bit of challenge again there.
Another competition you want.
Absolutely. But like you say, just that taking it to the gain line, making the defence get basically offside and making them track back round, just gives the backs then so much space to go through. It's a shame that one didn't go to hand. In a way, for the scoreline, it's probably best it didn't. But, yeah, you can see, again, that intent from the Army side of punch it up the middle, and then release, basically, and create those gaps.
Well, if it is a competition in terms of meters gained between forwards and backs, I dare say it's forwards who are more enthusiastic about making it public.
Bring the Navy in.
And Rebecca Addis here.
All I can say is I'm quite glad I've retired if that's the challenge.
Not the challenge today, maybe down the line.
8 out. Down by blue, play the ball.
And Tuvo playing rugby in Fiji and being bundled right back. Dixon looking to get that back to her midfield, but Mullins picked it up her opposite number, and that's wonderful stuff once again from this Army midfield. Amy Carr reaching out for the line, placing it back, and Brooks can make it. You mentioned that physicality once again on show. Fantastic from the British Army once again. And there's no stopping them at the moment. Wonderful from Lauren Brooks.
Yeah, the Navy, unfortunately, while you're playing in your red zone, you need to clear your lines, and at the moment that is a struggle for the Navy. It's something I'm sure that Jenks will be chatting to them at half-time. It was an issue in the RAF versus Navy game, and unfortunately they're back in that position at the moment. It's a necessity to get out of your red zone, and the Army just pouncing on those mistakes.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, when you're defending in that area, you go and put as much pressure as you can as possible, and then you see on that occasion the ball's gone in behind as a turnover. Jade Mullen straight on the ball. Such a selfless player, straight away looking for her support to offload, knowing that there's space, but need to be more composed in that area. You need to slow it down. You don't have to force the play. You don't have to play wide. You've just been hit backwards. Now you've lost all that momentum. Reset, go again. Give your kicker a great angle just to exit out of there, and then you can breathe again.
So another replacement coming on. Caitlin Bart for the Royal Navy.
14. Get on. Happy? Okay, let's go.
As we approach half-time, and Adrienne Baker coming off. The Army lead 45 points to 0 with those 7 tries, just ahead of the interval.
First knock on blue, second knock on red.
A little knock on there.
First knock on blue.
It's clearly a tactic there to go to that left-hand side for Mullet to try and get under it. We saw her almost get one previously. That one I would have just loved a bit more confidence from her to go for it.
Providing there's no penalties.
It is an interesting tactic, though. I was thinking this earlier on one of their other kickoffs. I'm not entirely sure where the Army don't have strength in depth on receipt, but kicking to Lauren Brooks is not the person I would choose to kick to.
Exactly. So if you're going to go there, you've got to compete against her, because what it also does is it makes your edge very vulnerable when you're putting your kicker in there. So you've got to go for it.
Yeah.
No.
I love that attitude from the Army there. You know, they know that time's probably up. Want to play quickly.
Scrum call, girls. Girls, no, free kick, no scrum. Say that, no scrum, it's free kick.
Substitution made by the Navy a few moments ago. Number 3, leading out the aircraft engineering technician, Ali Baker.
Yeah, just that attitude. They will always want to play rugby. That's what's so great about this squad. You won't see them, you know, just kicking the ball dead. They will want to play it. Whatever the score is, they love ball in hand and just going for it.
That's what Sophie Benevent's doing right now. Ball moving out. Komitai, wonderful try early on in the proceedings. Colin just trying to turn around that Navy defence. And Pursglove up brilliantly, herring down and tracking down her opposite number.
Head away, thank you, nicely done.
Maybe looking to recycle this and make some gains here in the final moments of this first half.
What was there?
For me, this is where you need a bit of game management. Look, it's half-time, let's reset. 45 points down. What happens in this moment isn't going to necessarily be the outcome. So I would look at getting the ball off, reset, get into the sheds at half-time, have a chat.
Yeah, 100%, and they're back, just playing outside their 22 again. Probably turnover, and I would completely agree with you there, Berth. The decision should have been take the ball dead, get into the sheds.
The Army be licking their lips here. Another opportunity before the interval. Pearson bringing that out to Samantha West. And the forwards go again. They've been relentless and through Benevent there. Trying to jackal here, the Navy. Not successful. Coming back off Jade Mullen. And that boot being put through there. And Tweddle and Pursglove in pursuit. And it's looking very good for the outside backs here of the British Army. Gilmore once again. She makes it once more over the whitewash. Lovely from Hannah Gilmore once again. Fantastic finish to this first half for the British Army.
Yeah, absolutely. Gilmore's had a fantastic first half. It's absolutely brilliant that she gets the try just on half-time. As we said earlier, decision-making by the Navy there, potentially giving the Army another try. I would certainly be having a chat with them if I was Jenks. But great work for the Army. I said they won't want to be seeing this full dead. They'll want to go for more points, and it's exactly what they've ended up with.
Yeah, it was a lovely spot again from Millie Williams there in the midfield, just spots the space on the outside. And it was a lovely, again, brilliant cover tackle from Jasmine Abel on Pursgrove, but still managed to recycle the ball back into Gilmore. And, well, she knows exactly where that try line is and knows how to finish. So, again, it's just putting them to the sword yet again when they could have been in, regrouping, resetting and going again.
Pursglove looking to curl this in with the final act of this first half, but the Army, despite that miss, will be absolutely delighted with their performance so far. 50 points to 0 up. Don't go anywhere. In for a fascinating second half and a tri-fest so far. Let's see what we're in for after the break.
For the Royal Navy, this is the first carrier-led global deployment since 2021. We went on board as HMS Prince of Wales got ready to go.
Students, stand by for rapid decompression in 3, 2, 1, now.
We're told Dragonfire can hit something the size of a £1 coin from a distance of just 1 kilometre.
Now they're focusing on their own drills, building up those soldiering skills ahead of that deployment to Africa.
We're in the front seat of a Jupiter HT1.
The modern helicopter offers a digitalised cockpit with an intelligent monitoring system.
But the recruits are learning from the best, and they will one day soon become the best.
Do tea cakes explode at altitude? I've come to the RAF Centre for Aerospace Medicine to find out.
You're here to learn to lead soldiers, so I think I'm quite excited to get on to the next bit. Having the opportunity to actually do your job, to actually make a difference, then I don't know what more you could want.
Right, just a little one to mark your card for on Monday. You can watch more than 1,300 members of the armed forces and uniformed services take part in a major military procession through central London. That getting underway from 12:15, and then you're going to want to watch the skies come alive for VE Day 80 with an incredible flypast led by the iconic Red Arrows, joined by RAF Typhoons, F-35 Lightning jets and other modern aircraft. That will get things underway at about 20-2 on Monday on BFBS. Right, Sarah and Alice, it's going to be a long day for the Royal Navy here, but what can we take away from the first half, do you reckon?
I think our back three have had a lot of work. Jasmine Abel at fullback, Flo Mullett and Sam Hill, those three have been working really well together. I think they just need the rest of the team to get back on their side and give them a hand. They're working really, really hard, but the Army are just quick. They're getting it out to the wings, and they need to try and overlap that and stop that forward momentum as quick as they can. So help from the rest of the pack, really. Yeah, collectively the Army are very quick. A lot of scores, tries going over the line. Let's kick things off and take a little look at Lauren Brooksy's brace so far. Someone that's just absolutely lethal when she gets her hand on the ball.
Yeah, Brooksy, she's an absolute unit. She's a machine. The Army wanting to get her hands on ball because she makes meters every time she carries, and in that area she's lethal, and Navy need to get low and chop. If not, the big ball carriers like Brooksy are just going to get gain line time and time again. Yeah, how difficult is it to try and slow down a threat like that, Alice? Yeah, very difficult. Like you said, we need to be getting lower, helping each other out, getting in those double tackles, and
yeah, we just need to stop that momentum going and meet them. We're kind of standing very stationary and then going very high. We need to get some force against them.
But you've already talked about the pace as well, particularly out wide. We'll start with Courtney Pursglove. Again, a brace for her. She's not just quick, she's athletic, she's shifting around. She's very hard to get a tackle on.
Yeah, so she's been out in Dubai for UCAF Sevens with quite a few of our girls, so they know that she's got that 7-step on her. Her footwork's great, and her kicking has been very good today as well. So yeah, she's a double threat.
And we'll get into your chip and chase a little bit later on as well, Sarah. But of course, it was the chip and chase that got her through on this first one, and then just solid hands and a great finish on the second.
Yeah, look, Army are playing in all of the right areas. They've got a lot of possession. They're playing in the Navy's 22, and they're just exploiting it. They're getting the ball out wide, and the Navy are having to basically scramble D a lot.
Yeah.
If they can get on top of that, get their spacings in defence, and then get a little line speed, we might stop that ball getting so wide. But right now, the Army are playing in the right areas, and the Navy are just defending an awful lot.
And you can see there with the Hannah Gilmore try, very happy to get the ball out quick with the kick over as well.
Yeah, they're very hard to defend, like you've seen, and like you've just brushed up on. They're unpredictable, and we don't know what to do. And they're finding it really hard to defend them with the kicks here and there, and they're gassing in the middle of the park. Like, how do you defend that? We don't know what they're going to do, and they are making it very difficult for us.
Speaking of kicks, right, let's get into this here. From the Six Nations, probably I would say my highlight of the entire Six Nations tournament across the men's, the women's, the under-20. I'm gutted we don't have the rights to this footage, but I would tell anybody to go on YouTube, or you've probably already seen it if their algorithm throws any rugby at them. Your interception and your sort of kick and then make your friend chase moment from your final fixture was up against Ireland, is that right? Tell me, the world must have slowed down for that interception.
So I do love an intercept. And
risk reward though.
It is risk reward, and if you ask my coaches, the weeks in the lead up to that Ireland fixture, I'd probably got about 5 yellow cards in training for the risk not paying off. But thankfully saved it for when it mattered. And I knew that I did not have the legs, and I had backs chasing me, so I thought I'll put it on the boot. And I knew that my pal was right behind me. So.
I mean, Rona Lloyd of all people as well. But honestly, have you ever stuck your foot on the ball like that before?
Do you know what? Berth up and comms will vouch for me, but I almost got a 50-22 for Quins a couple of seasons ago.
Way.
Almost. Yeah, I do like to put it on the boot now and then.
But I mean, like today, it's those moments where you can really, the Army are just threatening. It's that ability to turn something in a moment where ultimately, in that moment where you're on the 10-meter line, and all of a sudden you're right down the other end of the pitch, and those lethal moments are crucial.
Yeah, they're the little momentum shifts and changes that the team just get energised from, and the Navy potentially could do something like that. Just get some points on the board, give the team a little bit of belief and confidence, and you never know. They could hold their heads up pride after this game.
You never know. Talk to me about the World Cup. We've got a fantastic, home World Cup here for the women's. How are Scotland looking going into that?
Yeah, look, we have got a big pool. We've got Wales, Fiji, and Canada. First up, Wales. It's going to be a tough game, but off the back of our Ireland win, we've got a little bit of downtime now, and then we come together in June, and we're just looking forward to I guess, slogging out the pre-season and figuring out how we're going to approach the World Cup and get stuck into it.
Yeah, it's a highly exciting thing. I cannot wait to bring my family along some of those fixtures. And of course, the final will be here at the Allianz Stadium. But speaking of World Cup fixtures, it's essentially an Armed Forces World Cup. It is kicking off later this year. It's the Women's International Defence Rugby Competition. You'll see the UK host 7 nations. It's essentially the World Cup, but for the Armed Forces. Simon Hunter hosted the draw for it a little earlier, so let's take a look.
Today, of course, is a huge highlight in the military rugby calendar, and we're now going to look ahead to another major moment in Forces sport this year. The International Rugby Defence Competition is going to be an absolute cracker on these shores, filmed over the course of 3 weeks. Multiple venues, 8 of the very best women's international military rugby sides going head-to-head at multiple venues over that time. UCAF, the hosts, will be in Pool A, with France, the defending champions, in Pool B, and we'll now have a look at the other sides and who'll be joining them in those respective groups. And we're We're honoured to be joined today by the chairman of UK Armed Forces Rugby, Air Vice Marshal Ian Townsend, as well as Nick Glidden from the principal sponsor Vodafone for IDRC itself. So, gentlemen, without further ado, take it away, please.
Hello, me.
Thank you very much. Number 5.
Number 5, which is Zambia. They'll be joining UCAF in Pool A.
And number 1.
Number 1, which is Australia, joining France in Pool B.
Number 4.
Number 4, that is Tonga, and they'll be joining UCAF in Pool A.
Number 3.
Number 3, which is Fiji, and they'll be joining France in Pool B.
Number 2.
Number 2, Ireland, and they'll be joining UCAF in Pool A.
And I'm hoping this is the last one. Number 6.
And number 6, we have another side yet to be confirmed. So those are the sides that'll be taking up the pools. UCAF in Pool A, France in Pool B. It's going to be an absolutely fantastic tournament. Host broadcaster BFBS will be live with us throughout the tournament itself. Thanks to you two gentlemen as well. And we look forward to that.
So that starts on the 14th of August with in the pools. Each team will play each other. The 2 top of each pool will go into the semis, and then the final will be at Kingsholm in Gloucester on the 3rd of September. All that is to come. But before that, small matter of the Inter-Services Championships is to be settled, and it all concludes in a couple of weeks' time.
Does it again. Gilmore on the left wing. It's another Army try. A fantastic response from the red shirts. Williams-Morris, can she get there? It's a brilliant try. And here come the Army again. Well, there's a try. And Army goes, and it's Josh McNally. And the RAF have got themselves on the ball. And surely that is it. The referee's whistle concludes the inter-services. It's been an emotional day for each of those players in this tantalising inter-service decider here in Gloucester.
Right, as we can see, that is a double header. The Royal Air Force versus the Army. That will be the wooden spoon match for the men between the Royal Air Force and the Army. But for the women, it looks like there'll be an opportunity for the Royal Air Force or the Army, of course, to take home the Inter-Services Championship, because a likely opportunity will be that both the Air Force and the Army will go into that with a win under their belts following the conclusion of today. That is on Saturday, the 17th of May, and you get, of course, on BFBS. Right, let's get ourselves to the second half and the conclusion of this match here at the Allianz in Twickenham. And let's head back to our commentary team.
Thanks, JJ. Yeah, back here at Allianz Stadium, and British Army leading 50 points to 0. Scintillating stuff from them in the first half. Sam Hill looking to restart here. Sarah Jenkins, I'm sure, with plenty to say at half-time to her side. As we'll have Sarah Mitchelson on the other side. And, referee gets things underway here for the second half of this inter-service battle.
Don't play it.
And a penalty straight away there for the Royal Navy. Ray Metters just pinged.
Yeah, we talked about it in this first half about where they were kicking it directly to Lauren Brooks. That one, they made a move. She had to get her foot out, and then obviously the infringement there, playing the ball in front. Unfortunately, not making touch again. Just a let off, isn't it? Tactically got something right, and then giving the ball back.
To enable there.
Same thing, girls. 5 offside.
Gone forward. Well, of all the players, you don't want to be missing touch too. I think Courtney Pursglove's probably high up on the list today.
Yeah, ball in space with Pursglove and you're in danger, especially if she just gets in behind that back line with the Army support running with her as well. Clearly that relies on her giving the ball, but but yeah, danger player.
Rose Dixon just with the air there, but that's finding space again, the British Army. And Willis just can't hold on there. Navy looking to clean that up a little there. The Army out of nowhere finding that space.
I think that's the 5th or 6th time that Lauren and Annika have done that interplay between them and just making ground almost every time. Simple mistake there, but it's worked really well in previous attempts.
Making life very difficult here for the Navy. We saw with that error from Rose Dixon. Just very little time. 10 today with actually that Army back row up in her face.
Hold that gap, please. It'll be nice and slow. 9. I want to be this side. Oh, you're right. No.
There's Navy put in.
VAR is confusing me.
Interesting to see their strategy here.
Crouch.
Within their own 22.
Bind. Sorry, guys. Set. Square.
Huge heave from the Army, earning them a penalty and taking it quickly. Mullen shaping up to move that through the hands. Amy Carr here. And Pursglove can't quite hold on to it this time. I think she was in there if she'd held on. And just knocking that forward.
Thought she managed to get a toe to it then, but obviously lost the ball. Wasn't in control of it, so it doesn't
Blue
count.
13 sub. Blue 13 sub. 1-3 sub.
But big scrum, wasn't it, from the Army? And the opposition put in, shoved them right off the ball, and then earned the quick penalty, and then just wanted to get that tempo straight into the game. Want to pick up in this second half exactly where they left off in that first half.
Abigail Ashby for the Royal Navy on for Sean McLaughlin. Ashby, who started against the Royal Air Force in midfield. Onto the pitch now, there's plenty to do for her side. But another great shove there from the Army. Maybe just managing to come away.
No, you long arm, no lift. Stay. Let's use it, Navy.
Ball going out to Sinclair.
No, not now, 3. Second attempt.
And out to Dixon once more. Oh, and that's, well, that's picked right off there. Amy Carr reading that beautifully, and that pass from Rose Dixon just being picked off in the interception. And it's another for the Army, and plenty to ponder for the Royal Navy.
Yeah, I think again we're back into Navy playing in their own red zone, playing just off their line. In fairness, it's well read by Amy there. They are trying to move the ball out, but we were saying earlier, don't move the ball around in your 22. Beat it up, and get rid, make that territory gain. And unfortunately there, they've just paid the price immediately.
Yeah, I think if you've got the overlap, then you go for it. But they're really well marked. They've got 3 red shirts just outside. You saw then, you know, Rose Dixon's really good player, you know, but unfortunately just a slight juggle of that ball just allows for Carr to be able to get up in that passing channel and steal the ball and get over for a really easy 5 points.
Well, as you say, as the Army move to 57 points to 0 ahead, game management in that red zone, so to speak, really stinging the Royal Navy once again today.
Let's be honest. I wasn't going to say anything, that's not my place.
And Sam Hill ready for the restart. Familiar spot for her today, courtesy of those Army tries.
Straight back to Lauren, Annika on her shoulder, well taken in, built by the Army again. Again, interesting tactic at the moment.
What about the number of support runners, Berth, that we see for the Army every single time, inside and outside shoulders?
Yeah, it's really good quality, but it's also about how much they've played together as well. So that comfort and knowing where your players are going to be, and the confidence to give that offload and give that pass.
And Gilmore skipping through there once more, beating another series of tacklers in navy blue. And, penalty being awarded there for a high tackle from the referee. And Gilmore, it's like she's picking a spot, and wherever she wants to go, she's finding that space, or indeed making that space.
You mentioned about how well the Army play together. We've got a number of players playing for London Irish this season, and I think that's the key. I know the Navy, and I'll do a shout out to their clubs in a bit, but essentially getting the girls to play together week in, week out means that you've got that confidence that someone's on your shoulder. So we've got a number playing club rugby and a number playing together at club rugby, and it does make a big difference.
Advantage being played here for the Army. And penalty here.
Number 7.
Against Navy's number 7, and going quick here.
Offside.
Advantage. Caitlin Barkoff side there. So moving through the hands Amy Carr again, most recent try scorer. And Pearson out to Willis. Can't quite get through this time though. Lanky second row. And Gilmore now on the opposite flank. Out to Tweddle. And Charlotte Tweddle firing through there and making sure that she mirrors what her opposite winger is doing. And that's brilliant stuff from the Army once again. Tweddle now scoring once again.
And funny enough, as I mentioned, London Irish, one of their players scores, so Tweds is absolutely one of those players. She's been in the Army squad now for a number of years, experienced player. I think she's played in all the Army Navy at Twickenham, and a great try there, but absolutely one of our London Irish players.
It's poor defence, isn't it? Everybody's looking on the outside, folding around the corner and not worrying about the step back inside. It's just the tempo that they're playing with, which makes it really hard to then reorganise yourself and get set. It's a great finish.
Just fallen short there, but nevertheless, 62-0 for the Army.
Number 2, sub. Number 2, sub.
Well, it's fast and furious from them at the moment.
Number 2.
Maybe struggling to hold back that red
Actually,
tide.
got it. Thank you.
Another replacement for them. Freya Moore coming on for Rebecca Addis in that hooker spot. And the Army taking it in turns at the moment with these restarts. Taking it in turns to get over the whitewash. Komitai making wonderful ground there. Pearson getting this out to Mullen. And Mullen this time, I beg your pardon. And Pursglove out to Gilmore. What can she do this time in the wing? And Ashby doing well there to stop her right back, but referee playing an advantage, I think. It's Ray Metters there. A lovely little offload, Ray Metters to Sarah Batley, fellow front rower. That's very good from the Army forwards here. And Jade Mullen just being held up by Rosie Staples. And chipping it on the far side now. And Benevent this time. How much further can she get there, Benevent?
Onside.
Pearson to Mullen.
Backwards.
And that ball's just spilled back, but Pursglove doing the honours of trying to clean it up and using those dancing feet. And moving and cutting back inside. That's fantastic once more. A beautiful little swallow dive as well. Putting on a show for all the fans who come here for the British Army today, Sarah Batley. And why not enjoy herself getting over the whitewash?
Yeah, Batley's generally one of our workhorses, so that will be she's got very few tries for the Army but in terms of how many caps she's got, but fantastic footwork from the loose head prop there. Again, another London Irish player, but yeah, great footwork there and speed from her.
And the swan dive, don't forget the swan dive, the great celebration. But all of this build-up comes from the forwards across the park. You know, they're running onto the ball, getting in behind. So maybe you've got no chance of being able to stop any of that momentum. And there, we'll say she got about 6 foot up in the air, but quality finish.
After running 50 yards, clearly.
Yeah.
Well, the dive, we've seen it from the likes of Ashy, Chris Ashton and Henry Pollock more recently, but I think when a loose head prop does it, probably gets more eyeballs on it. And another 2 points from the boot of Courtney Pursglove. She's barely been without the ball today. Getting her side almost into 70, 69 points to 0 for the Army.
I think is one of the problems of this game actually is the Army have so much strength in depth. Every position, every player really has a rugby brain. We said it earlier, they're playing for clubs, they're playing week in, week out. They only have a few warm-up games as an Army squad to play together, but actually you bring this group of players together and they just gel, they fire. It helps. They had an inter-service training camp this year over in Gibraltar, and a quick shout out to Louis Pearson Silcox, who went with them, youngest player on the tour. So Heidi and Gemma's little boy. But yeah, it just gels them before this inter-service campaign.
The wind is picking up a little here at Allianz Stadium. Not worry the Army, as they push forward once more. Several replacements there, and look at that from Komatai. That's fantastic stuff from the number 8. And Mullen once again.
That's a tight call.
And ball just being spilled forward, and getting good interaction, of course. Thank you very much for your comments from where you're watching around the world. Craig Tilley has been across it as usual. Craig.
Yes, well, thank you for those who have been sending in their comments. Charlie, you mentioned earlier London Irish.
Yes, well, thank you very much for those who've been sending in your comments. Well, Charlie, you mentioned the London Irish players. We had a lovely comment from Jack Spruce on YouTube. Shout out to all the London Irish Emerald players. Sarah, Jade, Amy, Macalo, Charlotte and Joker, proud of everyone. And Jay on YouTube also says, great game with great commentary on the game. Army's playing well, Navy playing with more experience and tackle low. Cheers, former US Army rugby referee from Texas. So keep those comments coming on the BFBS Sports News YouTube channel, and we'll give you a shout out later in the game. Simon.
Thank you very much, Craig. Wonderful stuff as always. And, that ball just getting over that touchline, just into the Navy's 22.
They have that mark, you take a metre. Thank you.
And another opportunity for the Army. Moving that round to Batley. Will another swallow dive be in order here? No, she's been pulled down before she has the chance. It might be one of her teammates to utilise that space. It's good from Amy Carr. That's very good, getting the ball out, and Tweddle just can't gather it. Ball going forward, and well, she was in there if she had done so.
Yeah, real shame. It's one of those things where they've obviously offloaded out the tackle, so you're slightly flatter than you would want to be, so it puts more pressure on the pass to be able to get it out there. That was dead set to be another try. We've seen how quick she is this afternoon. Already getting over, but you know, good work from the Navy, not giving up, still scrambling across defensively and just getting in that eye line, which then forces that error.
Yeah, as you say, fantastic defence, forcing that error from the Army. I'm just going to have a quick front row dig here. That's why the forwards keep scoring the tries, because when we give it to the backs, we just end up with a scrum.
Have you actually looked at how many backs tries have scored and how many forwards? We're winning 6-5.
Charlie Maxwell might find that her mic stops working very shortly.
6-5 though, surely the stats should be quite different to that.
No, this game for all.
1 to 15.
Got to be versatile, come on.
Or actually, Huddy's words to the squad this week, just sort of final meeting before the Twickenham day, was you're all playing for yourself and your shirt, but actually you're playing for those that haven't got into your shirt. So they're playing as a 30-player squad here. So it'll be interesting between the Navy setup, the RAF setup, and what the changes are. But yeah, absolutely, Army believe, you know, you play for that shirt, fill the shirt, whichever shirt you've got the privilege of wearing. So yeah, absolutely, 1 to 15 game, 1 to 30.
Wonderfully profound there. That's great, and you know, it really is that cohesion which we're seeing from the Army here, and those link-ups. Just
away, girls, away.
It's a little twist in the tackle there.
Sorry?
Hopefully it's nothing too serious. She's had a brilliant game, hasn't she? She's been absolutely everywhere, Willis.
Yeah, she's had an absolutely fantastic game. Last year, player of the game, and I'm just looking, I've got notes here on she's actually due to deploy, and asked me to do a shout out to her company HQ that have actually given her the freedom to come and play this game. So I really hope that that's a stinger as opposed to a proper injury for Annika. So a quick shout out to 5 Armoured Engineer Squadron, currently working hard on Op Lazarite, and specifically thanks to the squadron headquarters for holding the fort while she plays here today. Hopefully we're not sending her back to you with a niggle or an injury, but thank you for releasing her today.
I think it's important for her to be part of this fixture. You know, the talent that she is and the way that she's played this afternoon really, really stood up.
Just on to Kath Brazier now, who's joined by a very special guest.
So I'm with Sarah Mitchell, better known as Huddy, of course, head coach of the Army team. I imagine there's not a lot wrong you can find with this performance.
There's still things we want to work on, yeah. Like we worked really hard this week in our defence and really trying to rush through, which I think we've done really well. But sometimes I still think we're a bit narrow, and we need to probably work on that and make sure that we're a bit wider there, yeah.
Yeah, because of course you've still got another game in hand, and that is against a tougher opposition in the RAF. So I imagine you sort of use this as a sort of look ahead to that one.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And we're trying not to make a lot of substitutions just because it's a high score. We don't want to. We've got to manage it like we would do if we're feeling more under pressure. We've got to manage it right, and also manage it like what players are going to get injured. Like literally, just had an injury there, and we've made the right decision to hold our subs for a little bit, which is good.
Do you think the girls can push it to 100, or am I asking a bit much of them?
We'll ask for another 30 at half time. So yeah, 100 would be nice. 100 would be nice, but that's not what it's all about, right? It's about just playing well, and hoping that the Navy gets a place in rugby too.
And just finally, I mean, you know, as far as sort of military rugby goes, is there anything that the sort of UCAF are doing to sort of bring up Royal Navy rugby? You know, is there anything that we can do as a combined body to bring up Navy rugby to the level that it could be at?
Like we have just got a lot more females, I think, and a lot more females in wider areas, and that's what makes it a little bit different. Where the Navy probably don't have that as much, and they really are at sea a lot more than what we are, and it makes it really hard for them to be able to do the stuff that we do. It's definitely not for a lack of effort and all the training camps. It's just the availability of what they've got at the moment.
And just finally as well, sorry I said finally before, but with that in mind, of course, they do play at UK Armed Forces level together, and we've got the International Defence Rugby competition coming up in this country. It's going to be huge. That's going to be amazing for women's rugby.
Yeah, it really is. It's good. Obviously the draw was today, and we're going to have at least like 6 games of rugby there against players from all over the world that are also serving for their country, and all around the same time as the World Cup. And so hopefully loads of women watching it, loads of people saying, oh my God, actually I can play rugby and be in the service. So hopefully that'll really grow it in there.
Huddy, Sarah Mitchell, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kath. Great to get the thoughts of Sarah Mitchelson there. The IDRC coming up, a very special year, as was mentioned, for women's rugby. The Red Roses winning a fantastic 6 Nations here, of course, last week, and the World Cup upon us in just a few months. In between that, of course, the best military women's sides in the world going head-to-head. And a fair few players here today who'll be hoping to be part of that. And Gilmore just cleaning up, and the ball going a little loose there. And Millie Williams edging ever closer. Oh, that's lovely, that's fantastic once again from the number 8, Manukalu Komitai. Spotting the space, and there was no one stopping her from that range.
No, absolutely. Combs is such a strong player. I mentioned in the pre-game build-up, she's actually been selected to go back to Fiji for a warm-up game for the World Cup, hopefully getting a shout-out for trials for playing for Fiji later in August, September at the World Cup, and we wish her all the best for that.
Yeah, you've just seen her growing confidence in this game, haven't you? She's such a fearless runner, really direct, really physical, which, you know, most Fijians are, so it doesn't surprise me. Komitai is on the scoreboard yet again.
Yeah, and she's such a lovely person as well, Combs. As you say, her confidence. She's been one of those players. She's sucked up not getting on the squad, then being on the bench, and just kept fighting, kept training, all of the bits that you want from that player. And you can see now today it's all come together for her.
Pursglove just pushing that wide. The score remains 74 points to 0 to the British Army. Approaching the hour mark here at Allianz Stadium, Twickenham. Oh, it's a fantastic time. You mentioned, of course, that IDRC competition and just how special it is to bring, of course, those three services together and integrating those styles, which I often find fascinating too, and finding out those combinations. So Sarah Mitchelson and those involved will have their work cut out trying to figure out some of those link-ups. And talking about link-ups here, the Army plenty in support and hot pursuit as they move forward. It's Batley again.
No!
It's a taste for the try line, and every time she has her hands on the ball now, looking to dart inside, as is Pursglove, and finding that space right in the middle of the field here. Who's with her? Courtney Pursglove, just stepping there and proving
happy with that.
very elusive here, Courtney Pursglove.
14. Not rolling, 14. It is a penalty. Yeah, no, it's a yellow card. No, it's not a yellow
Penalty
card.
there as
14
well
away.
for her efforts.
Yeah, Jade Mullen's got a good
Jade,
point there.
Jade.
Cynical play.
Don't ask.
Had all the momentum ready there to play, and then the player's not moving.
She was on top.
I think if the score was
I
slightly
get that.
closer,
I'll give you the
absolutely that would have
advantage.
been. But
Let's play.
I think with the score line as it is,
Scrum call.
The law's
Navy
the law.
have got away with it. I completely agree with you. As a long-term Army supporter, it tends to happen on Army Navy Day. Law is the law, but interpretation might change slightly.
Sorry?
What do you make of this, Charlie Maxwell? Scrum being called here. Very good position for the
Again,
Army.
if you haven't got it, tell me. I'll stand you up. No, too late. Crouch! Bind! Set!
And Pearson with the put in. Getting it out there to Jade Mullen. And Mullen just inches away herself from the try line and makes it, Jade Mullen. Captain Fantastic, as was the term used earlier in the week by some. Well, that's brilliant stuff from the skipper, leading from the front.
Yeah, I think she was showing her frustration there, and actually a really healthy way of expressing it back by just going straight for the try line herself. Again, we're back to that rugby brain. Wasn't held, ball down, ball back up, straight over the line. Fantastic play there by Jade.
Yeah, and she really deserves that try. She's been brilliant for the team today, just orchestrating everybody around her, and then when her opportunity opens up, she absolutely takes it. Really physical at the line, resets, goes again. And yeah, showing that frustration from the earlier penalty. Gets the job done.
Some replacements coming on here. Amber Star Palmer, outside back replacement. And Chantel Miller in the pack for the Army. And Joanna Banks as well for the Royal Navy.
So quickly, just as Joe Banks comes on, I'm going to do a quick shout out to Moira Douglas, who was due to play 22 today. Unfortunately got injured in training this week. So Joe Banks will be proud to wear that shirt. We'll be wearing it for her and Moira. But quick shout out and get well wishes to Moira back in the Navy camp.
Absolutely, yeah. We wish her well. Moira Douglas, fantastic outstretched arm, scoring that Navy try at Northampton against the Royal Air Force. Moira Douglas. And what a day this is so far for the Army. 79 points, 79 unanswered points here at Allianz Stadium. Just over an hour played.
3 and 9, 3 and 9. Sub.
Sarah Batley coming off for Becky Wilson.
Number 3.
She'll have been hoping the cameras will have been on that dive over the try line. One to put in the portfolio.
So there's been slight whispers of a bomb squad as well for the Army, and you look at that and you go Batley coming off, but Becky Wilson, another class player, coming on to take her place. There is absolutely no let up for the Navy in that front row pack from the Army.
And the very experienced Yvonne Mealy coming on for the Royal Navy, team manager for the Sevens in the summer. Plays her rugby at Havant RFC. And Josie Parnaby, it looks like, as well, coming on for Sophie Tulloch. And Banks on for Flo Mullet. A relatively short restart there.
Just as Sophie goes off, I do a quick shout out. She's actually the commanding officer of HMS Biter, and her message is thank you to the ship's company. They're about to set sail imminently, and so I'm sure they're going to be happy with Sophie coming off in one piece and ready to rejoin her ship's company. So yeah, congratulations to Sophie on command of that.
Absolutely, and Dixon there doing well to track down Hannah Gilmore in the wing and try and shut down the space she was looking for. Pearson bang out to Combs, Comatai there. And he's testing out the defences of Josie Parnaby fresh on the pitch. There's a little space there for the Army. That ball looked a little flat, certainly, but nevertheless, that's another score for the British Army. Oh, she'd knocked that on there. And, lost control, didn't get it grounded. And she'd be mightily frustrated with that, Berth.
Yeah, she just needed to dive, just drop her body height, get over the ball, over the try line. She clearly didn't just watch Sarah Batley as she swan dived over. But yeah, really frustrating, but great. Like, you look at the scoreline, 79-0, 62 minutes in, and yet you've still got you've still got the Navy scrambling across, trying to cause as many problems as possible, and they denied a try.
Yeah, fair play to the Navy, fighting through here to, as you say, 62nd minute, and this scoreline. That's great defence by the Navy, to be fair. That's one thing we have actually really noticed in recent years. I have to say, the Navy used to struggle with an 80-minute game, and the Army used to run away in the last 20 minutes. We have not had that for a while, and that's absolute evidence of actually the work that the Navy have done with their rugby team to absolutely bring that energy, fitness, drive, commitment through to the 80 minutes.
It's also a big attitude thing, isn't it? You can look at that scoreboard and think, oh God, we've got another 15, but they absolutely are playing. They're playing with pride in the shirt that they're representing, all their vessels around the world, etc. So I think, you're definitely not going to question what their effort and their attitude is towards this game at all.
Absolutely. And,
they have the edge of the line, girls. You take a metre.
Absolutely, I think that's the key to representative rugby. Military rugby, there's nothing like it. There really isn't anything like wearing your service shirt, and whether that's your single service or the combined service, the United Kingdom Armed Forces shirt. The player, absolutely, it's body on the line, fighting for your comrades. We mentioned the 30-player squad earlier, but you're also fighting for those that are here, those that are not here, those that are deployed. There's such a thing about the squads, and all three services bring that to the pitch. It's brilliant to see.
Josie Parnaby at the back of those rucks. You know that she can play numerous positions in that back line, but playing scrum half at the moment. That ball going out and hasn't found touch. On to Charlotte Tweddle, who's stepped inside Sam Hill beautifully. Now being held by Parnaby.
Stay feet.
And, the Army sniffing that whitewash once again. Moving through there, and that's over once again for the British Army. And lovely stuff there. And it's Holly Beacom who scored that try.
Yeah, Holly Beacom there. A quick shout out to Captain David Bentley, in fact, Major Douglas, QRH, who's released Holly from her trade training. She recently became #1 drummer on the pipes and drums course, and that smile as she got up from that try shows how worth it was to release her, and how much Holly's enjoying being part of the game today. So yeah, great try there.
It's a word for all those across the services who've released their players to be able to take part in this fantastic and storied championship. We know how much it takes. And great for Holly there. That smile, as you say, laughing away with her teammates. Going to head down now to, as the kick goes over, Kath Brazier with another guest on the mic.
So I'm here with the partner of Courtney Pursglove, Erica Mills, but you know all about Army rugby and military rugby, and of course you're decked out in all red here, so we know who you're supporting. First of all, your sort of opinion on the game, not really surprising that they're 86 points ahead now.
No, not surprising, but I think this is a real testament for the Army to see what they've got in their decision making and their capability against any opposition. This is a real good test for them against the RAF, obviously with the change in fixtures in the season. I think we're at a stage where over the years the scoreline has closed marginally but then increased again, so we're obviously in a phase now for whatever reason where the scoreline unfortunately is a bit larger than we'd probably like from a try-service point of view. But still, some really good rugby from the Army, some really good defensive efforts from the Navy. But it's always harder when you're on the back foot defensively, you know, energised defensively to maintain that for what we now 66 minutes. It's always a harder ask of a team that is on the back foot, but still some really good defensive efforts from them and some really great show and displays of attack from the Army.
And you know, I mean, Courtney's had a lot of ball. It's almost like she doesn't, you know, she's kicking them, and she's scored a couple of tries as well herself. But how hard is it for you as an ex-player as well to watch your partner play? Obviously doing very well, that can't be hard. But you're not itching to get back on?
Not at all. I think hopefully a lot of players that have retired will agree, but there's always a time that feels right where, whether it's through injury for some people or there's just a time in your career where you've fulfilled all of your opportunities that you can as a player. So there's a time that it feels right to step away from the game and still have a really positive experience and experiences to take away from it. So for me, there came an obvious point where I was happy to step away and felt that I'd achieved all I could in the game, and now I'm just hugely passionate about watching it and watching the development of women's sport in general. So yeah, a huge advocate for the game.
And on that, I mean, we talked before we came on camera a little bit about trying to help, and I spoke to Hadi about trying to help the Navy, not in a condescending way, but, you know, as a sort of military body, trying to improve their level somewhere, you know, because otherwise it's not fair on them, it's not fair on anyone to see score lines like this.
Yeah, it's really hard, and like absolute kudos to the Army squad and the Navy squad that come out here. You know, from an attacking perspective, there is also, it's hard to maintain those standards. Obviously harder on the defending side, who do come out year after year and put in absolute shift against the Army. But yeah, I feel like there is a bit of an energised shift that could go towards tri-service rugby as a collective to try and invigorate the developmental pathway for all three services, and hopefully the RAF would agree as well. Like, squad-wise, let's say 23 to 30 players, probably deep in a good quality side, but beyond that, we're looking to re-energise that pathway coming through across all three services. So I imagine there's a conversation that could happen, but again, with operational commitments and just the logistics of that, I don't know what that would look like, but I think that there is definitely space to capture that, yeah.
Erica, thank you so much. Obviously a vociferous supporter of Army rugby, but women's rugby in general. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for your time.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kath, and thanks, Erica. That's very promising from the Army once again through Lauren Brooks, but Navy earning the penalty. Josie Parnaby with the ball. And speaking of Courtney Pursglove, she's just come off the field. A couple of replacements there on the pitch. Fern Scobie for the Army. Talia Haywood for the Royal Navy. That ball trying to move that through the hands. Caitlin Bark has it. Replacement front row for the Navy. Rowan Sinclair now off the field. Experienced UCAF and Navy campaigner. But, the fellow back rower Brightwell there taking a little bit of red shirt heat.
You can't play through that because you're good. You're coming back to the high tackle.
The referee just keeping everything in order there. And another penalty. And Parnaby looking at her options here. Looks like she's shaping up to take this quickly, which she is. She taps and tries to find the hands.
I'm not in the way, don't worry.
And Army defence just prowling here. You know that any slip up from the Navy here offers them another territorial advantage. And trying to keep them pinned back, much like the RAF were able to do in Northampton. And Dixon moving that ball out wide, and Hill doing well there to control that with her boot.
It's just an unnecessary pressure though, isn't it? Trying to play, they've ended up going back 7 or 8 metres.
Retreat, blue, retreat.
Kick that ball away now, but haven't been able to turn to too many kicks today and get that exit strategy out there. Just Shaw getting the ball away eventually, but The Army, just as the RAF found a couple of weeks ago, happy enough without too many kicks coming back at them and keep the Navy pinned back.
Blue, take off step.
The Army leading 86 points to 0, moving into the final 10 minutes of this match. And trying to get that rolling ball moving there.
Now a tackle.
And maybe able to bring it down. And Scobie now getting that ball out, but that's just a bit messy there, and it's gone forward off the hands of the skipper.
Yeah, it's a shame there. It was a really well-worked line-out from the forward Army pack there. India King doing a fantastic throw-in. And just while I'm chatting about India King, now it's time to mention Captain David Bentley from 3 PWRR, who released India back from Optosca to actually come back and play this game. So quick shout-out to them and to the 3 PWRR out in theatre. We wish you the best of luck, and thanks very much for releasing India. Really shame there from a well-worked line-out, just a simple mistake in midfield.
Trying to be with the ball. Put in just outside that Navy 22. The Army shoving them right back. Not for the first time today. The ball going behind Abby Ashby. But Jasmine able.
No clear release, you paddled on.
Trying to get forward, and they've earned the penalty. And Dixon here passing it to Shaw. And finding touch, does Shaw.
Yep, we'll have to make a mark on this one. Thank you.
The wind really picking up here
time, please, right?
at Allianz Stadium, Twickenham. Another complexity to add to any thoughts of kicking from your own try line.
Play on. Advantage over to the not straight. No, 20. Thank you.
And the Army once again.
And away. No.
Pushing through the middle there, Lauren Brooks.
Stay.
Moving it out.
And
that ball just being knocked on, and more social media comments. Craig Tilley has been on the case.
Yes, well, thank you very much to all those who've been contributing to your comments on the Forces New YouTube channel. Going to start with Daniel on YouTube. Army are class to watch. Been brilliant for a few years now and getting better each year. They dominate games. I think the scoreboard really reflects that, Daniel. Thank you for that. Tia says on YouTube, absolutely smashing it with the defence so far. Abby Ashby, keep it up. Well, nice shout out there for the Royal Navy Centre wearing the 21 shirt there. Paul Hodges, well done British Army lasses and Royal Navy lasses. Great effort on both sides. Thank you very much for that, Paul. And Samantha Locke, London Irish players on fire. Head coach Ken Dowding, legend. Absolutely agree, Samantha. Well, thank you very much for your comments, and back to you, Si.
Thank you, Craig, once again. Thank you for keeping on top of those comments all day, not just in this match, but of course the men's as well earlier on. Fascinating finish in that one. And it's been a feast of brilliant rugby today. Very good as we enter the final moments of this match. As the ball goes out there. Time to be thinking about player of the match, which I know Charlie Maxwell and Rachel Burford have been thinking long and hard about.
Berth, I'll let you go first on who you're considering.
Yeah, it's a bit, Army, there's been some really, really standout performances. I think in the forwards, Annika Willis was excellent for the time that she spent on the pitch, and we probably wouldn't be having a debate if she was still on it. She had an excellent game, but I think also in the backs, just to mention Millie Williams, I think she had a couple of little crossfield kicks, really getting her team into the game early on, and just her ability to release the backs as well has been excellent.
Yeah, we've mentioned Jade a number of times throughout the game, both for her leadership of the Army squad, but also for her individual play and fantastic try that she scored. But actually, I'll just break for the try.
Speaking of tries, another one for the Army. They keep finding that try line, I should say, close to the touch line there. Wonderful stuff. Sarah Mitchelson will be absolutely delighted and not letting up at all in the final moments. India King, replacement hooker, getting over that try line and keeping up that intensity, keeping up that pressure.
Yeah,
brilliant
absolutely.
stuff from the Army.
Absolutely for India there, another London Irish player, so thank you to London Irish. Just jumping slightly back to player of the match, and Berth and I have been having a tally chart of forwards versus backs scoring tries. So it might come as no mean surprise at 8-7 at the moment, forwards versus backs, that the player of the match today has had some really strong carries. Her interplay with Annika Willis in that midfield in open play has been amazing. She's scored a couple of tries so far herself, plays for Quins, brilliant player. Lauren Brooks is player of the match today.
Fantastic stuff, as you say, from Lauren Brooks. And fierce competition for player of the match, as you say, across that Army side, Berth.
Yeah, it was really, pretty tough, but she's been really, really good. Her work rate's been excellent. Every restart has gone down her throat. She's always managed to get metres on the back of it, on the shoulders of others, and just, the 2 early tries that she also got just came through that kind of determination, work rate, and being on park. She's a former teammate of mine, so I'm really delighted to see her win the Babcock Player of the Match.
Just a few minutes to go here. 91 points to 0, the Army lead. And they're not letting up at all. Not resting. They want more.
I'm just going to jump in quickly while I can, so I'm not accused of being one-sided with the clubs that we're mentioning. I think we've mentioned Portsmouth Valkyries already for the Navy, Havant RFC, and then of course Jess Bryant and Rose playing for Cheltenham Tigers. We mentioned earlier it's so important that service players, they've only got a couple of games each year for their service, so playing rugby week in, week out, and all of the services are so grateful for club sides that train them, play them. We know that our players make a big difference in those clubs as well, but it really is developing service rugby for us, so thank you to those clubs.
Another penalty for the Army.
21 roll.
Yet another attacking position just outside the 22. And an opportunity here.
Scrum call, girls, scrum call.
Scrum called. Referee just clarifying, and some thunderous hits today on their way to that 91 points to 0 lead, the British Army. And who knows, that could of course be extended further
just where she walked over
in the coming plays.
Copy 2.
Final couple of shout-outs if I can. So this one, first one is to Commander Vix Percival. She's actually the Navy Director of Rugby, but she's currently deployed aboard HMS Prince of Wales as the Commander Marine Engineering. And she's represented today by Lieutenant Commander Sam Cuff. But Vix and all of your ship's company, we wish you all the best of luck for your deployment.
Absolutely. Yeah, shout out to all those going in deployment. And a shout out to all of you watching around the world, whether you maybe just down the road in Twickenham or somewhere further afield. It's been great to have your company today across both inter-service matches. A wonderful showpiece occasion, as it is every year. And the Army looking to add another try to the spectacle. Oh, wonderful. Hannah Gilmore again finding a little bit of space. And that ball just leaking out of play.
That's such a shame, because it's such a lovely link play. Really good timing, ball out the back, done enough to draw the defender in.
Option of scrum or line.
See Jade Mullins now moved into that fullback position, talked about her versatility, being that link play, but just slightly pulled the ball too far in front.
And a very healthy sign of a strong side is whenever the head coach, as we heard Sarah Mitchelson mention earlier, there are things to work on. They'll not be pleased with certain things they've done today. Obviously delighted at the scoreline, but a sign of a very well knit together team.
Yeah, the Army never try and rest on the laurels. It's always those 1% that you can improve on, and certainly RAF, having watched today's game, that game on the 17th of May that we're all looking forward to up at Gloucester, both sides will have a lot to work on before they meet on that pitch. Great run up to the final game of the championship.
It'll be an absolute cracker at Kingsholm, as you say, Charlie. The Royal Air Force and the British Army both licking their lips at the possibilities that abound up there in Gloucester, and both sides with lots of great rugby to see across these two matches.
Bind! Set!
One last chance here in this match as the clock moves into the red. And that's Scobie who moves around the side of that. And that's beautiful from Fern Scobie. The replacement comes on, and wonderful stuff from her. Spotting space round the side, utilising it beautifully there, and ending on the highest of notes for the British Army.
Well, you could say that the forwards earned that try. Really solid scrum, but the scoot around the outside, beating defenders, should never get on that outside really with the numbers that are coming across. But look at the celebration, the delight in her face and the smile, almost couldn't believe it.
I have to admit, I actually thought the Navy had her in touch then, in terms of I could see her going flat and round, and I was shaking my head, but what awareness of the space that was there, the gap, and straight through. And yeah, really great try for Scobie there. I think this is her first Army-Navy. She has been capped, as I say, there's no new caps today, but what a great try on her Army-Navy debut.
And to add to what is now a record victory, or will be a record victory for the British Army over the Royal Navy. And ball just teasing the crossbar, doesn't quite go over, but 96 points to 0. The margin of victory for the British Army. They've been ruthless today. Fantastic win for them. Performances right across the field, all the way from loosehead prop to fullback. The replacements have been brilliant too. Also a great sign, we mentioned that cohesion and that unity as well, that Scobie scores and players in the touchline are all celebrating together.
Yeah, Berth and I are high-fiving as well, because it's 8-all between the forwards and the back, so no weird challenges at the commentary box. But what an absolute display of outstanding rugby by the Reds. Commiserations to the Navy, lots to work on for next season, but that should not take away from the Army performance. They were ruthless, and every time there was a gap, every mistake, they're through. The teamwork, the interplay, that pod movement, great display of rugby.
And Berth, as we look ahead to what will be a decider at King's Home between the Army and the RAF, well, the Army have certainly laid down a marker today and sent out a pretty strong signal.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you always look at other results and see what the score was and how that game went, and you know, the RAF will look at this result and think, okay, that's a significant amount of points that they put on against them, so they're both going to have to go away, do their homework and come really prepared for that game.
Absolutely, and Kath Brazier is with player of the match, Lauren Brooks.
Congratulations on player of the match, a really solid performance from you and the rest of your teammates. What a score on the board today.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a good score on the board, but you know, credit to the Navy, they definitely challenged us and put us under a lot of pressure. So yeah, we had to dig deep at times to kind of get the ball back and get points on the board.
I mean, in a game like this, you kind of have to come with your own agenda, don't you? Because the likelihood in history says you're probably going to win, which can be a hard thing to deal with as well. But you know, Huddy was saying you haven't got everything right, not you personally, but there's still a lot you can improve on.
Yeah, 100%. And this is like a great fixture leading into RAF. Like, we could definitely take a lot of the learnings from today and build on that, obviously, over the next couple of weeks. So yeah, nothing ever goes to plan, but yeah, I think we definitely executed well today, and yeah, definitely a lot to learn going into the next couple of weeks.
But to get player of the match at Twickenham, that's something else, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I'm shocked, but yeah, credit to the team around me. You know, Combs is a fantastic player, excellent work rate. Same for the rest of the forwards, they really dug deep and made a lot of breaks, and as well, you saw the quality that we've got in our backs as well, to execute as well and cross that white line. So yeah, credit to the whole team really, massive effort to everyone.
As Lauren Brooks is our player of the match, we're joined by your captain, Jade Mullen. Congratulations, Jade, on another stunning performance for the Army.
Yeah, I'm really proud of the girls. Everything we've worked on over the last couple of months, from Wales under-20s last week, building into this, like everyone executed the jobs, and that's all I could ask for.
Of course, this isn't the end of your in-services. You've got a match against the RAF in 2 weeks. A lot of that will have been in your head, I'm sure, to sort of how you can perform against them as well.
Yeah, obviously, we know we've got the RAF next, but we wanted to focus on this game. We've not thought about that, and now this game's done, now we can think of that.
Just a word about your player of the match, Lauren. She put in a player of the match performance. So many good performances today, but just a word about what she did right.
oh, what doesn't she do right? She's fucking awesome. Oh, sorry, she's awesome. Yeah, she's physical. I'm really sorry. She grafts for the team. She's a great asset for us, and we're really proud that we can call her part of our Army squad.
Sorry for the swearing on Jade's behalf. Thank you very much to Jade Mullen and man of the match, player of the match, sorry, Lauren Brooks. And we'll just quickly cut to Rose Dixon. Difficult, I know, frustrating. I don't know what your emotions are at the moment, but yeah, emotional, I'm sure.
Yeah, really emotional. I think we came into the pitch feeling that we deserved a better scoreline like that, and I still take away from that an immense pride for the girls. They played incredibly, and I told them not to let their heads drop, and they didn't, and we went out again and again. And yeah, just really proud of the girls today, and credit where credit's due. The Army were phenomenal, but yeah, lots to think about to take forward. But yeah,
is it a question of getting some more support across the military to sort of help you girls? Because I know you've got the want, I know you've got the passion for it. Is it a question of getting more support to bring your game up?
Yeah, I think so, and it's slowly growing, and in an ideal world we could get everyone to a top tier club and be playing at that level consistently. A lot of the girls are deployable. I mean, a couple of them are flying back out to Prince of Wales soon, so there's a lot going on and a lot of moving parts, but the support is definitely needed. It's coming slowly, and all we can do now is help to build the game of rugby for women.
Rose, you're a really, really strong leader, and I know it's disappointing your inter-service is over for this year, but we'll be seeing you at Gloucester, hopefully on commentary, so we look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, no, very much looking forward to it. It's going to be a good game, and yeah, excited to be on the comms.
Thank you, Rose Dixon. Thanks very much. Cheers.
Well, very gracious in defeat there, Rose Dixon, at the end of a very tough one to take, I'm sure, for every single Navy player. But she spoke well there, as did Lauren Brooks and Jade Mullen. What a fantastic day for the British Army. And head back down to JJ and his guest down there.
Thank you very much. From both of the captains there. It really is a sort of match of two halves in that fixture. I think we've, of course, got to give it to the Army. Just a really, what a performance.
Yeah, we knew it was going to be a tough game, and it was. But to repeat what Rose Dixon just said, the girls carried on. They put a shift in, and we've got to remember this is quite a few of the girls' first time Army Navy match, so it is an emotional game. They're almost like a deer in headlights, trying to cope with the occasion, and I think they did that excellently today.
Yeah, speak to me about that emotion, actually, because of course there's some disappointed faces and some tears being shed, but there's a lot of smiles on faces as well for the Royal Navy there, because this is a big occasion, this is a big opportunity, and ultimately, regardless of the scoreline, there's so much that can be taken away from today.
Yeah, I think not even just the rugby, but the community that it brings, even the fans that are here, some of them, it's their first time Army Navy, and hopefully they'll be coming back again. It's a great day all round, a great occasion. And yeah, there were little wins there out for people, people that just wanted to go in and put a hard tackle on someone, and they did that. Like scrums were really good today. So the little wins, people will individually take them away with them, and they'll remember this. This game for a long time.
And I think the belief as well, particularly for 80 minutes, they really, really put up a fight to the bitter end there.
Yeah, they did. They never gave up. They kept going. It's a shame we didn't get points on the board. Last year that try that Jasmine Abel had, that lifted the whole stadium up. So it's a shame we couldn't get something like that today. But we'll just have to go again next year.
Yeah, we can always go again in 12 months' time. Charlie's hot-footed down from commentary and joined us again with a big smile on your face. That was a ruthless performance from the Army today.
It was, and fair play to the Navy. I would completely agree with you. That was an 80-minute dogfight. The scoreline does not reflect the passion that the Navy play with, but it was a dominant performance by the Reds. Every area of the pitch, and we were talking in commentary about, where would you kick the ball off to? Because ultimately, wherever you kick the ball for the Army squad, there is strength in depth and real attacking power.
Yeah, talk to me about that strength and depth, because what is it that the Army is doing right that other services could be replicating?
I'll start off with we are a bigger service, so in fairness to both the RAF and the Navy, we do have a higher population to select from. But then you could discuss the female versus male quotient in the Army, etc., etc. We have a lot of support from our union. We've got a league structure in the community game, so the corps play each other. So we've got competition outside with the service team itself. That's been going for a number of years. We've got about the same number of warm-up games, I think, but just the passion, I honestly couldn't put my finger on one thing that the Army have. The passion, the squad availability. We've got absolute now support from our chain of command in getting players released, and all of that. We call it the 1%. All of those 1% add up and create the demonstration of performance you saw today.
Right, well, there's the handshakes for the Royal Navy, and then we will shortly be seeing the familiar sight of the Army lifting the Babcock Trophy. Let's get back up to our commentary team. Simon, take it away.
Yeah, the Royal Navy just going up there and receiving their medals. And applause for what they always bring to this tournament. A chastening defeat for them today, put to them by the British Army. Once again, lining up for that trophy lift. We just saw Lauren Brooks a short time ago receiving her award. Fantastic part she's played, and as has been mentioned, real competition across the board for that player of the match accolade. And here come the British Army, to many cheers, many with their phones up here recording what they're watching, friends, family, fellow personnel, indeed those who've just come to watch some great rugby today across 2 matches. And it's a line that's being backed up there by Sarah Batley and Jade Mullen as well, waiting her turn for that trophy lift. And Berth, what a side. You look at the quality there and some of the things they put together as well. A real treat for us watching.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, we saw such greatness in combinations during the game. Number of really standout individuals, as you can see there, crutching up the stairs. Annika Willis was excellent today, and they just had that strength and depth across their team. As she goes off, somebody comes back on and is able to replace that same ability, and they kept that tempo playing for 80 minutes, and that's why they pushed that scoreline to the highest that they've ever had before. But it's clear to see the programmes are in 2 different places at the moment, but it's great to see the Army leading the way and setting the standards for all the military. There's still one more game to come, obviously, and I'm sure the RAF will have plenty to say in that fixture as well.
There'll be a great clash between 2 top sides. The Army against the Royal Air Force. As we see some of the Army players there just trying to unveil that, it looks like that Captain Fantastic poster, which we saw for Jade Mullen. And in this fairly moderate breeze, whether that'll stand up against it, but there's that term once again, Captain Fantastic for Jade Mullen. You see the support there from her players. Charlie Maxwell pitchside with JJ just now, of course, mentioning the support they have from the Union as Jade Mullen gets up there, but the support they have for each other, at the end of the day, it speaks volumes for the British Army as Jade Mullen gets ready to do something she's done several times before. It's another year and another trophy lift for the British Army by their skipper and by Sarah Batley. Deserved winners today, 96 points to 0, a record victory for the British Army, and so well received right round the ground as they try and make sure that trophy stays in one piece, of course. And we've seen that a few times outside of military sport as well, in sporting circles, making sure that those awards aren't broken the minute they're lifted. But wonderful there moment for Jade again, Berth. It's just fantastic stuff from her as she passes that trophy around the team.
Yeah, it's a wonderful moment, and Jade Mullen, former teammate again of mine at Harlequins, and she's an incredible individual, really selfless, and works so hard for her team, and you can just see that by the way that the team galvanise around her. She really leads with example.
Yeah, wonderful day it's been, wonderful times for military rugby. Great stuff from the Royal Navy men with their victory earlier in the day, and the British Army women and pushing things to what will be a mouth-watering decider at Kingsholm on the 17th of May. Plenty more sport, live sport coming up. BFBS Forces News YouTube channel and forcesnews.com for plenty more information about where you can find more of that.
The inter-services is still up for grabs. That decider, as was said, will be in a couple of weeks' time at Kingsholm. It could be the Army or the RAF to take that one home. So make sure you tune in for that one. It's going to be an absolute ripper. Sarah, you'll be playing in that one. Having watched that today, what do the RAF have to do?
Look, I think we've first and foremost got to front up physically and play in the right areas, keep the Army up to 22, and then you've got a shot.
Yeah. Ellis, the Navy, what are they taking away from today?
I think we need to take away that we can compete in the scrums. You know, our pack can be dominant. We do have the strength and we can be physical. We just need to build on that confidence and build on being as well drilled as the Army. You know, you can tell that they just came out here, they had fun, they know each other inside and out and how each other play. So I think maybe some longer training camps throughout the season, trying to get all the girls together more often and just coming back bigger and better next year.
Charlie, final words to yourself. Ultimately a dominant and ferocious performance from the Army. I said it during the men's game, in fairness. Rugby's the winner because it is an absolute pleasure to watch a team of that level deliver in that way, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. The performance that the girls put on today, fantastic. The Army said before the game, they don't concentrate on who they're playing, they play their own game. And that absolutely today, they've demonstrated that in every corner of the pitch. And I know they'll be looking forward to playing the Light Blues on the 17th of May. So great game to look forward to. Yeah, well, we're looking forward to watching it. Thank you very much to all of our guests across the women's game and across the men's fixture. A little earlier is one apiece today. The men's Royal Navy, the victors. The women, it was the Army that take home the Badcock Trophy. So that means in that double header at Kingsholm on the 17th of May, it's the wooden spoon to be decided for the men's game, and it's all still to play for the women in the Inter-Services Championships. Make sure you tune in for that one. It has been an absolute pleasure to be here at Allianz today. What an absolute spectacular fixture it has been, particularly that man's game. Another one for the ages. Enjoy, as I say, the rest of your evening and enjoy your hangover tomorrow, I'm sure.